What is ripping? I am Gabriel Morency. Let's do this thing. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. This is the late night anger management class. Yet, how angry can I really be right now? You know, I'm a middle-aged. Obviously, I know. I look like I'm about 19, 21. Although, to be honest with you, I don't get carded too often anymore. And in fact, I haven't been carded in years. That flattery has left the building a hell of a long time ago. that flattery is absolutely gone. But nevertheless, I'm a middle-aged man, and I'm a pretty bitter dude, actually, too. You know, I'm the late night anger management professor. Nobody really is angrier than I am. Yet, how can we be ultra angry right now when you consider it's football eve right now? Now, listen, I love college football as much as anybody. I'm a big college football guy. But with that being stated, college football can be pretty frustrating. Like when you have money on App State and, they're down 31-0 and they're running the ball up the middle every play. At least in the NFL, there's no such thing as the old paycheck game. So listen, I love college football. But let's bring on some professional football right now. And tomorrow night at this time when we're talking, it's probably going to be halftime, actually, of the Patriots and the Chiefs game. And you know what? I was going to say I'm like a kid in a candy store, but let's say I'm like a cokehead in Colombia. That's a good one. Copyright Morency. And we'll get to copyright issues in a couple of minutes, actually. We'll get to copyright issues in a couple of minutes. Never a good day when you wake up to emails that, says we have a problem. And I'm seeing fucking presidents that I've never heard of before and stuff like that. I've gone a lot of years without any drama in my career. But, when you start dipping your beak around everywhere, suddenly drama starts to ensue. So to put it this way, I don't know, I took off my fire gear. Hey, ladies, if you're out there, I know you love firemen. I was a fireman today for the day. Fucking putting out fires all day long. like putting out fires. Like, seriously, no shit. I don't want to get into it too much, but, I had one of those fucking days. I've been in the industry for 16 years, and before I was in the music business. And let me tell you, all right, I've been in the music business, the TV, and radio and sports media industry. And I've been a hustler on the streets in my 47 years alive. I got to tell you, man, the media types are as tough as they come. I bet with fucking mobster bookies, that are more compassionate than like media types. And I say this with all due respect. Listen, media hosts aren't much better, as we saw today with our boy Carton in New York. Holy motherfuck. First Rosillo gets busted. Then Carton gets popped. Who's the next fucking white bald host to go down? And if you notice, I'm running my own Survivor League. Not anymore, fuck. Yeah, I'm running a Survivor League if you're in the fucking province of Ontario, all right? All right, I already had this before, fuck. I had this last football season. I had this recently. My bank contacted me, man. They're like, listen, and my bank called my fucking TV studio like 4 times, which I knew was serious, all right? I'm like, oh, fuck. This is for real. So I call the bank back, and I'm thinking, oh, man, like, what? This is bad. Like, something really bad's about to happen here. So I call the bank, and they're like, yeah, listen, we got to ask you. They're like, you've sent over $40,000 in money transfers. And I'm like, yeah, and? They're like, wow, that's a lot of money. And I was like, wow, your definition of a lot of money, my definition of a lot of money. And they're like, yeah, but, you've crossed the barrier and stuff. And they're like, why? What are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm running a fucking football fantasy league. A few of them. And I was speaking to this Indian lady, man. And, you know, she sounded like an old, nice lady and shit, but she had no fucking idea. So she's like, so why are you sending people money? I'm like, because they fucking won a football league, all right? I said, a guy won a survivor league, a fantasy football league, and I had to send him $2,400. I was like, this guy won a hockey league. So I said to her, I was like, listen, I said, don't take offense to this, but, you know, can I speak to somebody that'll understand what I'm saying? Like, I said, I don't really think you really get. She's like, oh, a contest. Yes, a contest. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't really understand what I'm trying to tell you. And I was trying to tell her, like, I wasn't trying to be the dick. Like, listen, you don't speak good English, so that wasn't my point. Her English was fine, but she didn't understand the concept of, like, fantasy leagues and shit. So I was sort of trying to, you know, I was like, listen, can I? And she's like, no, I understand. Fuck, my door's gonna get fucking kicked in any minute now. So yeah, Boomer and Carton. Carton's a big time talk show host in New York City, man. So this morning, Boomer Esiason's doing the show on WFAN, and he has no idea that Boomer has no idea that Carton got busted. Right? So all Boomer knows is that Carton's sick. Except Carton isn't ever sick. So Boomer Esiason, like, started the show and he goes, I don't know. He goes, I'm here alone. And he goes, you know, he never told me. And he goes, it's kind of weird. Like, kind of, you know what I mean? If he's really sick or there's an emergency, Carton would have fucking texted Boomer and said, hey, Boomer. It's like Cam. You know, Cam, text me. I can't make it to the studio, Morency. I got to do it from my house on Skype. Give your co-host a heads up. Boomer never got a heads up. And was told, basically, by station management, he doesn't feel well. He's not coming in. Yeah, well, you wouldn't feel well either if the FBI fucking kicked your door in at 2 in the morning. And that's what happened to Carton last night. Now, what I don't, you know, first off, a couple of things here. Carton, you're a fucking idiot. Listen, if I got caught, you know, if I'm doing some hustle or something, you know, if you knew how much money I made, you'd be like, yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. But Carton makes big motherfucking money with that gig. So you're already making big money. Now, they say you had big gambling debts. Yet on top of that, though, I really don't understand what his crime is. I don't get it. He was reselling tickets and he had investors. So, like, I don't get it. So is it, is it illegal to be a fucking ticket broker nowadays? He's not standing outside of MSG selling Nick tickets. You know, he's selling WFAN tickets, which I actually did. When I was the host of the Expos postgame show, I used to get paid so little money and no one went to the games, and I was on the radio station with the rights holders, and the sales lady knew. And she used to tell me, just go to my desk at the end of the day, and whatever tickets are there are yours. And it used to be like 200 of them. Fuck. On a good day, I'd get $1 a ticket. But, hey, it's $200 a day. I was getting paid $38 fucking to host that Expos post-game show. It was like, fuck this, man. I'm going to sell tickets. All right, so Big Man on Campus is here. So that's what I was going to ask. The Ponzi must flow. That's what I was going to ask, though. So I guess the problem is, he never actually was selling any tickets. He was just fucking taking people's money, which I don't understand how the fuck he thought he was going to get away with this. Like I said, hey, man, I run a $2,000 fucking fantasy football league. All right, hey, come get me. You know, fucking Boomer and Carton got some sort of $5 million ring going on. Boomer's just sitting there in the studio thinking, oh, fuck, man, I hope he doesn't rat me out. Like, I was just talking about my day from hell, Zach, without getting into too many details. But like I said, at least I had a better day than Carton did. Fuck. Carton's toast. So Drusilla lives in New York. Drusilla lives in New York. You're not buying Boomer Esiason. Hey, listen, you know how many people sent me messages today? telling me, Morency, you're perfect for that job. Yeah, me and Boomer Esiason are going to get along, fuck. And like I said, I got more skeletons in the closet than, and you know it's a bad sign when the owner of the Fantasy Sports Network sends me a tweet saying you'd be good for this. And like I said, I got angry emails from them all week already. So it's like, I'm thinking, holy fuck, yeah, now they're trying to push me out here to go to the fan, fuck. Oh, this fucking industry, guys. But we're going to talk football. How's the horse? He's not doing well, all right? He's not doing well, Wilson, but thanks for asking. He's got a fucking fractured fucking foot, man. And now they want money because we're out of money. All our winnings are gone now. And now we got to pay for them. And now the investors are bitching. I got to tell you what, guys. People have said this for fucking years in mankind's history. They say, don't get involved in the horse racing industry. All right? I was warned. I was warned by Tony Sopranos of the world. I was warned by fucking sports gamblers of the world. Every walk of life that I know. I know a bunch of hustler Italian dudes. Morency, don't do it. $40,000 at Woodbine. Don't do it. You know, from Paul Bovey, gambler. Paul Bovey, big time. Paul Bovey's rich as fuck, man. The guy's got season tickets to like 9 NBA teams. He goes, Gabe, I fucking owned a horse. Don't do it. Everyone said don't do it. We're like, don't worry. We know what we're doing. We win a race in our third race. You know, we got checks coming in left and right. Now our fucking horse is sitting in a fucking barn with a fractured foot. And I got fucking trainers calling me saying, where's our money? This fucking horse is fucking living better than I am. Why do you think I'm on 22 hours a day? I got to pay for Conflict Diamond. Now I know what it feels like to be a fucking team owner. So the guy, I said, like, how long is he out for? They're like, wow, you know, 6 weeks. And I'm like, so he'll be on the track in 6 weeks? And he's like, no. And like, I'm like, I told the guy, I said, listen, Cal. I said, listen, I've been gambling for a long time, Cal. I might be new to the horse race. I said, just fucking get to the point. Like, he's a nice old guy, but finally I was like, listen, just cut to the chase here. Like, what's the deal? And he goes, well, if everything goes well, in about 5 or 6 weeks, he'll be able to start jogging again. And then he goes, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks after that, he'll be able to race. So I'm like, well, so 6 weeks, I'm saying it's 10 to 12 weeks then, what you're trying to tell me. And he's like, yeah, that's probably a safer assumption. So I'm thinking, then why the fuck did you just open it up with 6 weeks? I swear to God, if I own an NFL team and a doctor told me, and I said, how long is Elliott going to be out for? How long is Beckham going to, well, I don't know, he's going to be out for 2 games. And I'm going to say, do you mean fucking 2 games? Or are you just telling me this because you think I want to punch you in the face right now? So yeah. Long story short, he's not lying to us. Long story short, don't get into the horse racing industry. All right, number one, don't get into the horse racing industry. And number two, I better win some fucking bets to pay for this fucking horse, all right? So let's get down to business. NFL football kicks off. And we have the lovely Cynthia Peters in the house. Johnny Fiorienza, I appreciate the kind words, Johnny. See, we have a lot of rageaholics kicking here. A lot of regulars throwing it down with us here this evening. So, yeah, we have to go through a little bit of a rebrand here. I don't want to get into details too much, but basically Kyle Johnson in the house. What's going on, Kyle? I've got a lot of rage, Cynthia. Trust me, I've got rage. Good to see you, Brooks. Raptors 47-53. Yeah, exactly. The insurance. It's a fucking claimer. I mean, no, it's, yeah, exactly. You know how much the insurance would be on a beat up 7-year-old fucking horse? Like, basically, we got to nurse him back to health, get him on the track, and sell him, all right? That's the deal. Except the only thing is, I named one of our super contest teams Conflict Diamond. But I love this horse, and I believe in this horse, and whatever. The fact of the matter is, he's had the same injury before. I wish I would have known that. Injury before, and it gets better. Like, it's not bad enough that he needs even a vet, even. Like, there's no surgery, there's no nothing. It's basically like, you know, put it in these terms, in like football terms, it's like a sprained ankle. You know what I mean? Like, he feels discomfort. Like, he can walk and run even, but he feels discomfort. So it's real old school foot. His foot is in like a bucket of water, like no shit. His foot is in like a bucket of water with like special salts and stuff. And basically that's it. Like, he's not doing anything. It's actually not that much for the month. It's not that bad, but it's going to be a few months. Listen, there's a horse, Red Bugler, that we race against all the time, and this fucking horse wins all the time. This horse was out 8 months, fuck, and they've made about fucking $62,000 with him this summer back. So it goes both ways. It's the horse racing industry, but I'm telling you right now, don't get into the horse racing industry. Don't get into the media business. Don't get into the rock industry. Just stay home and gamble on sports. That's my all right, good shit, J1. That's my that's my advice. So our boy Babano will be stepping up and in. Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano. We'll talk week 1 of the National Football League. And since I like you guys, I'll share a little secret with you right now. If you remember at the IFBC, and I saw, listen, I want to check in the chat here. Was it Chris that said he was with us at the IFBC earlier? He's still with us, Chris. Where is he? PMP says I'm his favorite sports analyst. That's very kind of you, PMP. I appreciate that. I'm getting ripped on YouTube all the time the last few days, but they can fucking blow me. There it is, Chris Edge. Yeah, what's up, Chris Edge? San Diego, you're the dude with the radio. Yeah, you should have your own fucking show, Chris Edge. I'm a fan of yours, Chris. What's going on, brother? Chris Edge is the man. He even has like an FM. He looks like an FM jock, and he even has like a radio name. Chris Edge. That's a fucking awesome name. That's like Simpsons, Max Power. Great name. Oh yeah, the economy. Yeah, the economy's falling apart there since we left that track. But yeah, we'll be back. It is what it motherfucking is. What are you gonna do? You know, the horse got hurt. The horse got hurt. What can you do? It's like gambling. It is what it is. But like I said, so when we were at the IFBC, I talked about Justin Tucker, and I talked about the long field goal prop with the Baltimore Ravens, and I said last year. Listen, Justin Tucker was 10 for 10 last year from 50-yard field goals and out. Yet the props are usually 44.5 for the long field goal. You know, they'll go up to about 45.5. But it's generally about 44.5, 45.5 for a long field goal prop. Yet normally they don't release the props, all right? They don't release the props until like Sunday morning. Maybe like late Saturday night they'll release the player props for the Sunday games. Yet I guess since it's week 1 right now, you know, the sports books are anxious to fucking take our money. And one sports book that's not a sponsor of this program at all, but I'm going to share it with you just so you can make some money, is Bet365. Right now, Bet365 has posted their props for all the games. Now, generally, they don't like doing this because they're going to get hit. And I can tell you, I stepped up and hit them. I made my first play of the NFL season. long field goal, and I don't understand this one at all. And the only thing is if Justin Tucker is hurt. And you know what? Justin Tucker did have a concussion. He got a concussion in that Bills game, the same Bills game, Ravens game that Tyrod Taylor got a concussion in. Just motherfucking scrap the fucking preseason, man. It's fucking useless. You look at college football, they don't have a preseason, they come out flying. But nevertheless, so Justin Tucker, but he's cleared the concussion protocol. He's a fucking kicker. He's playing, all right? So I'm looking, I'm like, oh, man, they got props. I actually wondered. I was like, I wonder if there's props up for the Chief game for tomorrow and the Patriots. And I'm like, oh, look, there is Chiefs-Patriots. And I'm like, holy shit, they have props for long field goal for every game up already. So first thing I did, I obviously anxiously scrolled down to find the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals prop. And lo and behold, there it is. So tomorrow night it's going to be raining in Foxborough. You know, anyone you watch the news, look at the East Coast, man. They're about to get fucking smashed in Miami. Puerto Rico's under attack right now, and not by Kim Jong-un. You know, there's rain. It was windy as fuck here in Toronto the other day and rainy and stuff. You know, the weather could be a little bit bad. You know, this in the south, in the southeast and the East Coast this weekend. So, you know, they've got scattered showers tomorrow night. And we'll do a little weather check. Although I'd prefer if we had like a hot chick here, weathered lady segment. You know, I've been doing this shit for 16 years. I've been telling every fucking show I've ever been on. I've always told them, we got to do this. And no one ever listens to me. No one ever listens to me. You know, and it's funny because when I was in Las Vegas, when I lived in Las Vegas, I was doing my TV show. I was recording it out of the Don Best studios. And they basically stole my idea, fuck. Or I told them, fuck. I said, you know, you get a fucking chick in here. So they basically stole my idea. And they started getting like these, you know, hot Vegas chicks to come in and try to just fucking read the weather. They couldn't do it. It's amazing. It's amazing. I think that's how the Kelly in Vegas chick became created, actually. But nevertheless. So it's going to be raining tomorrow, Kansas City and the Patriots. The long field goal. Now, you got two very good kickers, although Santos was hurt in the preseason. I don't know, actually, if he's ready to go tomorrow. We'll take a look at that. But, you know, we know Gostkowski's one of the best kickers in the NFL. Over-unders 45.5. Bad conditions tomorrow night. Arizona Cardinals, Detroit Lions. The game's indoors, all right? The game is indoors. That's something to key in on. The total's 45.5 for long field goal. Atlanta Falcons and the Chicago Bears, all right, the Windy City, outdoors, 43.5, although we should note that Matt Bryant was a great kicker last year. And now we arrive on the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Long field goal prop, 40.5. 40.5. It is by far the shortest. I don't know. You know, Mark Lawrence always says you have to respect the odds maker, right? I don't fucking know. I don't understand this. I have the best kicker in the fucking NFL. I have a prop. It's like, you know what? You guys are fading me. You probably watched my presentation in Costa Rica, and you saw me say this, and you're fucking fading me. Well, fuck you. I'm going to beat you. Either that or it's a typo. So, no, all kidding aside. It's 40.5. It's minus 125, but it's 40.5. The other lowest one is 43.5. The Jets and the Bills. And Hoshka is a very good kicker. That's probably going to go over too. The Bills' offense sucks. They're going to take any fucking points they can get. Bet that one to go over too. We'll do a Buffalo weather check. All right, so I see. I'm like, oh my God. Last year, the Baltimore Ravens' long field goal prop was 12-4 to the over. All right. And here we have opening week. We have the lowest. We have the lowest number on the board there. Think about that. You've got the lowest number. It's baffling to me. And even better, the Bengals cut Nugent. Who's the new kid? Bengals cut Nugent. Well, they're always cutting him, but Randy Bullock. Randy Bullock. I tell you, Mike Nugent's a terrible kicker, all right? And since he's an Ohio State guy, like I said, back to Dateline for you. Go get busted by Chris Hansen now. Nugent's a crap-ass kicker. He's gone. That's even better. And we've got Justin Tucker. And another thing is, I looked at the weather for Sunday, Cincinnati. 73 degrees. 10-mile-an-hour winds. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day for football. Let's play, too. I apologize for my voice. I've got a little bit of a cold. I plow through. You know, people tell me, Morency, you never get sick. I'm like, I'm sick all the time. I just don't complain about it. I just shut up and do the shows. But, yeah, man, like, it's been a rough one. I'm actually getting a little bit better. Trying to eat a little bit healthier. I've been eating bananas and apples and stuff. Bananas and apples. Yeah, trying to improve my diet a bit. You know, and I tell you what, why I got sick, too. I fucking knew I was, man. There was some motherfucker on the plane, man, behind me, and the guy was, like, choking to death the whole fucking flight. Coming back from Vegas. Like, he was, like, coughing up shit, man. And I was like, man, I know this guy's coughing up some weird fucking voodoo flu on me and shit. And I was right, like, in front of him. Then I feel something. The guy's got his dirty sock on, like, my armrest and shit. I'm like, fucking, I elbow his foot off. I'm like, man, I came this close to telling that, you know, I wanted to pull, like, a star shit. Tell the stewardess, listen, you got to get me in first class. This guy's going to get me sick. That's why the Diaz, what did Nick Diaz say? Nick Diaz says you can't fly into a city before a fight. You're going to get sick. You know, it's true, man. I've been taking a lot of planes recently, man. They're bacterial fucking death traps. Fucking bacterial death traps. That's what they are. All right, so weather is fine. Weather is fine. Nugent is gone. Tucker is fine. And we got over under 40.5. I've already placed my first official NFL wager of the season. It's in. There's no turning back. Like Homer Simpson, I'm putting my foot down. I put my foot down. There's no turning back. The foot has been put down. The foot has been taken down. So we placed our first wager, and in full transparency here, in full transparency, to let you know, like, well, all right, you've already played it. How much did you put on it? I'm not going to lie to you. I was sitting here, and I saw this at about 5:30 today. Now, I work more than an Apple worker. And speaking of which, we've got our good friend Siri here, who was unresponsive last night. Siri?
Hi, what can I do for you?
Did you help the Boston Red Sox cheat again tonight?
The Red Sox overcame the Blue Jays by a score of 6-1 today.
Yes, but did they cheat?
I don't know what you mean by yes, but did they cheat? How about...
You know exactly what I mean, Siri.
Siri knows many things.
Yeah. I'm sure you do. Yeah, Siri's playing coy. Siri, what can you tell me about the Boston Red Sox Apple Watch gate?
What shall I find for you?
she's pretty.
I found this on the web for cyst.
Holy fuck. This is, she didn't like my smart ass shit. She goes, this is what I found for cysts. That's, that's Siri telling me to go fuck myself right there. I'm telling you, you know, in an age of the future, you know, shows like this, and we're all going to be useless. We're all going to be useless. She's going to say, Siri, are the New England Patriots going to cover the 9 points tomorrow?
I'm not sure I understand.
Fuck, man. Will the Patriots cover the point spread?
Here's what I found on the web for will the Patriots cover the point spread.
I say no. I know it's risky, but I'm telling you what, I'm starting to feel the Kansas City Chiefs +9. All right, so in full transparency, I'm sitting here, and speaking of Apple, like I said, I have less time off than an Apple worker in like Malaysia or something. So I'm on my 12-minute break, and I look at the line, and I'm like, holy fuck. And I'm like, man, I got to fucking get money into this account here, but the only way to do it, I got to get one of those PaySafe cards. But I got to run to the post office. So I actually, I had to run to the post office, get the PaySafe card, come back, place the wager. And if you're wondering about the wager, it's a $250 wager. I don't have that much. I was like, oh, I'll put $500 on it, but I put $250 on this. And I'm sincerely hoping that that they kick a fucking 41-yard field goal on the first drive of the game. Now, Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano, is supposed to join us. Expected to join us at 10:30. If I can't trust a fucking handicapper named Babano to be punctual, who can I trust? Babano's a pretty meticulous person, too. Like, he might have fallen or something. Like, he's in his bath fucking tub now. Right. This is probably why I'm sick. These headphones I'm wearing, I got from like Delta Airlines, and they're so fucking rugged. I actually put them in a washing machine and they still work. I've got some badass headphones here, but you know, like a lot of things in my life, I've got a little problem with them. I got to fix them. Let's bring in Johnny Manziel's part of Johnny Manziel's posse. Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano, joins us. What's going on, Babano?
What is up, everybody at SBR? Gabe, it's good to be with you, and congratulations on the new platform, Sportsbook Review, the home for Gabe Morency and his one and only phenomenal takes on the sports betting world on a nightly basis. It's going to be a lot of fun doing this and being on the show with you here every Wednesday. Look, it's been going for 16 years. I've been around for probably about 9 or 10 of those years, since about 2007, 2008 at the Score Hardcore Sports Radio, when I was Ian and Dundas, calling in to Game On and shows like that on that platform. And for 9 years, Morency's entertained me night after night like no one else in the media universe. And looking forward to just doing this on every Wednesday night. I'll be a guest with Morency here on SBR. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words, Babano. And I see Zach Jones talking about quality headphones. No. I'm a fan of these. They're not nice and light here. nice and light. I'll be honest with you, Zach. And I'll get to respond to this, Babano, but I'll be honest with you, Zach. I have a bunch of killer fucking headphones, but I'm an old school guy with the old school jacks and stuff like that. I'm dealing with a MacBook Pro here, all right? I fucking, I got a lot of cables to deal with and little things. But no, these are good headphones, and I'll tell you what about these. These are solid. I bought my ex-girlfriend a pair of Beats by Dre. I swear to God. Well, I didn't buy them. I got them in a sponsorship deal, but same thing. They were like $199 fucking headphones. They fucking sucked. And she goes, you know, I don't want to disappoint you, but she goes, the ones I bought for $5 at the dollar store sound better than the Beats by Dre. So, you know, don't get scammed by names, people. Don't get scammed by names. So, Babano, and yeah, as far as adapters, I paid $100. I stepped up and spent my own fucking $100 to get a new Apple, the official one. No more knockoffs, right?
I've had several bad relationships, Morency, with earbuds in the past. A lot of people that know me know I'm a huge music guy. Listen to music a ton during the day when I'm going for walks. I've always got the earbuds in, listening to music, singing away, probably embarrassing myself doing so at times. But you know what's funny is that I listen to so much music, and then the earbuds ended up getting coated with some stray earwax ends up on the earbuds because I listen to it so much, and I end up just, you know, they end up jamming in my ear. They end up hurting because I've been wearing them for so long, for so many hours on end. And it's a very, very stressful and trying time trying to get earbuds that fit me perfectly and will do the job. It's not easy.
Yeah, I didn't think we are going to be talking about your earwax issues here, Babano, on the program. It's a little bit too much information.
A little bit gruesome.
A little bit too much information there, Babano. But nevertheless, let's get down to business. Talk some football here. I was just talking about the prop. I love the Tucker prop, and I get it at 40.5. Yeah, I don't know what the hell it is. Maybe I'm a sucker, and I just walked into a big trap. But nevertheless, let's talk about some games and the Kansas City Chiefs and the New England Patriots. And I'll put my my Cappers cap on right now and spit out some numbers to you guys. Here's an interesting number as far as Andy Reid is concerned. Andy Reid, 11-3 in his career as an underdog when getting 8 or more points. Andy Reid doesn't get blown out very often, Babano. Yet, Patriots, it's hard to get in front of this juggernaut, but I tend to believe, and I sincerely do believe this, I think the Patriots offense, I'm not going to say it's going to struggle, but I think people think it's the same Patriot team from the Super Bowl that's just going to walk onto the field again tomorrow night. It's a different team, and Tom Brady even said as much, stating this is the first step of a marathon, right? It's the first step of a marathon. The real question about this football game is, can the Kansas City Chiefs do enough on offense to keep up with the New England Patriots and the number?
I honestly think this game stays under the total a little bit. I mentioned that on the roundtable show at SBR earlier today. Look, don't take anything away from Tom Brady, and I sure don't. He's definitely a quarterback that, as he's gotten older, he continues to get the job done. I understand that, but you can't underestimate, or in my opinion, undersell just what a big deal Julian Edelman was to this Patriots offense, as far as a guy that he was looked at as sort of that safety blanket, that guy that Tom Brady would target in the passing game routinely. And now you're going to have to sort of deal with that. Him not being there, you're going to have to get more. You know, you're going to look for Chris Hogan, obviously, is going to have to be a guy that does a little bit more. Brandon Cook's going to have to do the job. Malcolm Mitchell going to have to step up. So it's going to be interesting to see now, without Julian Edelman there, what the New England Patriots are able to do and how Tom Brady and this offense adjusts to him not being there. And on the flip side, this is one of the weakest skill position groups I've ever seen that the Kansas City Chiefs have. I mean, Alex Smith running this offense to begin with. We saw it last season, very pedestrian. A lot of their points came from—
he had a pretty good year last year, Alex Smith.
No, he did, but I'm just worried that there's not a lot of—
And their offense, too. I'll play devil's advocate. You know, their offense was the 13th highest scoring offense in the National Football League last year, the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't envision them moving the ball up and down the field here in this football game when you're going to be relying a lot on Tyreek Hill at receiver, not a lot behind him. Chris Conley, you're going to rely on him behind him at receiver. I sure am not. Travis Kelce at tight end, one of the best tight ends in the NFL. No question about that. I've just got my issues right now with Kansas City being able to punch in drives in the red zone. Are they going to be able to move the ball in between the 20s? They could. They might be able to do so. And Andy Reid, you give him credit, he's sometimes able to scheme up a good game plan offensively on more occasions than not. But they're going to be able to punch in touchdowns. I'm not so sure. That was a little bit of an issue for them in the preseason. Now, again, you take preseason with a grain of salt, but I just don't know if they're going to be a team that's going to be lighting up the scoreboard here. I don't think New England's going to be clicking on all cylinders either offensively right off the get-go. So I'm going to stay away from the side here in this game. We know the home team defending the Super Bowl champion at home on that Thursday night opener. Has done pretty good ATS over the years. I'm going to stay away from the side, but I do think it's going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game Thursday night.
Yeah, if you look back in the history of the games that they've played, the New England Patriots beat them 27-20 in 2016. We remember that 41-14 beatdown in 2014. So, they haven't played as much as I envisioned them actually playing against each other recently. That somewhat surprises me. But the last time they played, last year, 27-20, would have kept it under this number as well. It's dangerous to get in front of the Patriots, and it's dangerous to bet the under in a Patriot game in this spot. But scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. Weather could be a factor tomorrow night. Obviously, it always comes down to the wind situation, but it could be an unpleasant night tomorrow night, and we'll do a double check of the weather right now. We all know meteorologists are like handicappers; they're never wrong. They're never wrong. So listen. Last night they were saying showers. Now suddenly they're saying partly cloudy tomorrow night. Winds aren't going to be a problem either. So weather won't be an issue. I do agree. I think the Patriots offense will not struggle, but be a little bit chunky. Gronkowski hasn't played in forever. They have a lot of new bodies out there. They'll rely on Hogan. They'll rely on Gronk. Brady will rely on the guys that he knows. We got a fresh running back there. One thing you raise a good point, though, with Tyreek Hill and Conley, it's a bad matchup for them. Like, you got Stephon Gilmore and you got Malcolm Butler right now. So, you're going to have Gilmore locked up on Tyreek Hill. You're going to have Butler most likely on Conley or one or the other either way. It's going to be hard for these guys to get open. But Kansas City and Andy Reid, I'm telling you, Babano, they find a way, man. I talked about this last night, perception and reality, that the Kansas City Chiefs score more points than people realize that they do.
You're fighting an uphill battle if you think you're going to make money with New England this year. I really believe that. I understand. We know we're talking about this dominant era of Brady and Belichick. I understand that. I get that. I understand they won the Super Bowl last year. But Joe Public is going to keep riding this team. They're going to be priced like it every single week in the betting markets by the odds makers. You're going to have to look elsewhere to find profits in the NFL this year. I would be surprised if the New England Patriots run of ATS success continues here into 2017. I don't trust the Chiefs catching this many points, but I sure as hell don't want to lay it with New England, not even on this season opener at home.
Yeah, and if you look at Bill Belichick, 4-5 against the spread last 9 season openers. You do have that trend with the Super Bowl champs. I remember in the old days, Super Bowl champs were a good bet against team in week 1, but that left a long time ago. Like now, that doesn't exist anymore. These Super Bowl champs normally lay the wood down and beat the crap out of them. But I'm leaning, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be betting some props. We'll take a look at some props later in the show, guys. For tomorrow, I'm interested. I haven't even got a chance to look at them yet, so we'll go over them fresh together. But I'm comfortable that the Chiefs can hang around on a teaser, and I'm gonna put the Chiefs plus 16, and I'm gonna put them with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm very confident. I feel like the Chiefs can stay within the 16 points, and then I'll have the Pittsburgh Steelers -2 going into Sunday. That's how I'm going to be attacking this game. And I can't lie. I'll probably end up getting a little piece of the Chiefs. I fucking pray, man, that the public can bet this up to 10, although I don't think that's going to happen. But I'd love if it did. But I think the Chiefs can hang around. I side more with the Chiefs leisure, but it's far from the best game on the board. And I'm part of 4 entries in the Super Contest, Babano. And I'm not playing this game in any one of them. So it's far from the top play of the week. That's for sure.
Well, you better keep that teaser a secret from Teddy Covers. You're violating his key teaser principles that he always talks about 10 million times. He's going to have nightmares thinking about that if you ever tell him that.
Yeah, I really don't care about any handicappers' fucking principles, to be honest with you. That's the thing with gambling. Whatever works for whatever people do, keep doing it. If some guy's winning teasers every week, then keep playing teasers. Some guy wins parlays. It's like the old parlays are for suckers. Fuck. I know a lot of big time bookies that tell me fucking, the only players that they fear are parlay players. All right, that's so everyone's got a different stance on that. But I'll gladly take plus 16 with the Chiefs and -2 with the Steelers.
Yeah, rules? What? Rules? Do you know who we're talking about here? This is Gabe Morency. Rules are not permitted. Sorry.
All right, so yeah, Matt McCursky saying it's sports, of course, Sports Interaction. That's the thing. SIA, they love to jack up the faves there. Sports Interaction, I like Sports Interaction. They were a long-term sponsor of mine, actually. They're good people over there. You know, I'm from Montreal. I know them well. But Sports Interaction, they have a tendency of making the favorites higher all the time. And if put it long story short, if you're an underdog bettor, Sports Interaction is a good place. All right, Sports Interaction. Big man on campus, you know what I mean? You hear what I'm saying? Exactly, man. You and I think the same, big man. I don't give a shit. You know what? Some of these guys tell me that shit, and I know they mock me. Oh, he's doing this and that. Well, whatever. I didn't see you guys in fucking line cashing a $55,000 check, fucking the super contest. You know, like I said, you know, so many so-called sharps and fucking these guys. And I'm not talking about Teddy, but I'm talking about, you know, guys in general. They barely even fucking bet. They run their fucking mouth. They barely fucking bet. They don't have money to put up anything, and it's all fucking talk. And they talk about, ooh, the sharps and the squares. You know what? Last year, the fucking sharps got their fucking ass handed to them, and Johnny fucking Square kicked the shit out of the book. And that's why the guy that won the Las Vegas Super Contest is a fucking barista at a fucking Starbucks at the Luxor.
Anybody can win that thing. All you got to do is have the hot streak of a lifetime, have a season of seasons, and you got a shot in that thing. It's wide open. You don't have to be Mr. Jim Feist. You don't have to be any sort of handicapper to win that. Anyone can do it. It's really that wide open.
Jim Feist is a good guy, actually. I know Jim. All right, so
came to mind. That's why I mentioned it.
Jim's made a lot of motherfucking money. I'll tell you that much. Best Jim Feist thing ever is me and Cam had Jim Feist on a TV show. we're in the parking lot. It was the Packers-Steelers Super Bowl. It's a classic example. It's the Packers-Steelers Super Bowl. We're in the parking lot. It was actually the Luxor, believe it or not, again. And I said to him, I said, all right, yeah, I guess, you know, you can't really give your Super Bowl pick on the show here. So I said, you know, if you can, give a prop or two and maybe a total or something. And he looked at me and he goes, you know, with all due respect, Gabe, he goes, it's not going to cost me any business giving the pick on your show. So I was like, yeah, point taken, Jim. And yeah, Jim gave the Steelers. He was wrong. You know, it was like, remember Daniel Negreanu on TSN when I was on Off the Record, and I said that Brock Osweiler and the Broncos were going to beat Tom Brady and the Patriots, and Negreanu mocked me. He goes, I'll fade you all day long on that bet. I was like, yeah. He wasn't talking too much after Brock Osweiler and the fucking Broncos beat him. Fuck them all. I'm with big man on campus, man. I don't care about rules. You do what works. You go with what you think it's going to work. There are no rules.
Yeah, that's why, you know, works for you, Daniel. Stick to that, will you?
Yeah, whatever works for you. So, all right. So tomorrow night's not a best bet, I don't think, but I do lean with the Chiefs, and that's my recommendation, guys. Call me insane. I think the Chiefs are going to hang around in this football game. I think it's a 24-17 style game, 24-21. It might creep over the number, but I've got confidence the Chiefs can hang around in this game. And I think the assumption that the Patriots' offense is just like going to put up 38 points or something is a fallacy. I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow.
I agree. What else have we got? What game you want to talk about next?
Well,
I'm talking about Patriots Chiefs. I don't have much. I have a lean to the under. I'm ready to go. What's the next one?
Well, you tell me, Babano. You're the guest. What you got to give us some winners?
Oh, is that the way it works? Oh,
yeah, you got people tuning in. Like, you just tell us a game you like and why.
All right, let's go to. Let's not talk about Wake Boston College because I talked about that one today. Let's talk about this Texas San Antonio Baylor game.
We're talking NFL football, Babano. It's a pretty big cop out. You don't have an opinion.
Oh.
NFL football's kicking off in less than 24 hours. You're like, well, I don't really have a strong opinion on the first game.
We can go NFL, whatever you want.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, NFL.
All right, we'll do NFL. All right, NFL coming up on Sunday. Philadelphia, Washington, NFC East battle. I like the Philadelphia Eagles here in this spot. I know the lines moved a little bit. Got the Philadelphia Eagles around a pick 'em right now in this game, but it's a situation right now where I don't trust this Washington Redskins team. I don't like their defense. I don't like the skill position talent that they have on the outside, and I sure as hell I'm not ready to trust Kirk Cousins running that offense when I saw a very, very scattershot performance from him in the preseason, down the stretch last year, when that guy wasn't just bad, was abysmal, was pathetic with the playoffs on the line in 2 key home games late last season against the Carolina Panthers and the New York Giants. Shit himself, urinated on himself, puked all over the field. That in both of those football games was brutal in both of those games. I think Philadelphia is a team that's going to be a little bit of a sleeper. Not saying win the NFC East by any stretch, but I'm talking about from a point spread perspective, going to fly a little bit under the radar. This is year 2 now for Carson Wentz. I think he's going to be a little bit more comfortable. I like the offensive and defensive lines that the Philadelphia Eagles have on both sides of the ball. I think they have a chance to win the battle in the trenches on both sides of the ball in this game. Just asking the Eagles to win the game straight up is not that much of an obstacle to me. I understand the Washington recent history against Philadelphia, but this is a new season. This is now a quarterback in year 2, and this is, I think, a quarterback in Kirk Cousins and a franchise in the Washington Redskins that is regressing, not getting better, where on the flip side, the Eagles are getting better. Give me Philadelphia to win.
I was going to say, I like what you're saying a lot about Philadelphia coming into this year, and I'm buying into it a lot. I think they're a talented football team. Obviously everyone is aware of the additions on offense and the wide receiver and stuff. They bring in Ronald Darby as well. I like the draft pick. It wasn't a sexy pick, but Barnett is an aggressive pass rusher. I like the direction the Eagles are going. Yet, Donnie brought it up last night. Big man on campus in the chat. And I know he likes the Eagles here. Donnie was liking the Redskins, and I almost have to go reverse contrarian here. And I'm with you. Listen. I lost a lot of money on that football game when they lost to the Carolina Panthers last year. You're right. Kirk Cousins didn't play well in that game. He didn't play well in the game against the New York Giants to wrap it up. But I can't I can't overlook the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles haven't beaten the Washington Redskins since 2014, and the game's in Washington right now. I think the best bet in this game is the over. I mean, you look at the history of these two teams. Last year, they put up 49 and 47 points in the 2 games. The year before that, they put up 62 and 43. The year before that, 51 and 71. The year before that, 40 and 60. Here, they usually play one crazy fucking track meet a year, and then they play another game where they both get into the 20s a year. It's amazing how history has repeated itself like this. And I know the Redskins were terrible in the preseason as well, Babano. But I can't get in front of this. I can't get in front of the history of this. And even though I like the Eagles from a fantasy perspective, I think this is a dangerous game for them coming into this spot here.
Well, I will say this. On Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Game Time Decision Studio, the first edition of Who Ruined Your Sunday with Gabriel Morency. If you have Kirk Cousins be in the wrath of your scorn that day, I'm not going to say I'm going to have sympathy for you. Sorry, I got to be honest. I'm not going to have sympathy if you're going to put your money on Washington. You're going to say Kirk Cousins ruined your Sunday. I got to be honest. You're my friend, but I got to be honest. I've got to help my friend.
I know. I understand the advice, and it could be Andy Dalton too. We'll get to that in a second.
It could. Wouldn't shock me in the least.
But, so you're confident enough that let's take away the 3 points, the home field advantage. You're confident the Philadelphia Eagles are this much better than the Washington Redskins, that the Philadelphia Eagles should be favored on the road in week 1 of the NFL season with no major significant injuries on the Washington Redskins ledger against a team that they haven't beaten in fucking since 2014 and have lost 6 consecutive games to.
I say yes. And I say yes because I believe Philadelphia is on the. I'm saying it. I say yes because they're on the incline. Washington's on the decline. I understand past history and all that. I did not like the body language and what we saw from Washington with backs against the wall late last season. That was chance after chance after chance to cement and nail the fuck down your playoff spot. They didn't do it. They were terrible. They just absolutely were awful in games against teams that were reeling late in the season. The Giants were reeling. Carolina was reeling. They were at the end of a dismal, disappointing season. And for them to play as poorly as they did really bothers me going into. I know it's new season. I understand that, but I think Philadelphia is on the improve. there's a point where I'm not going to like Philadelphia anymore. Obviously, if we get 1.5, 2, if it keeps climbing, and if we get to Philadelphia favored by a field goal by Sunday, and that's very possible, Gabe, it could move that high by kickoff. Certainly, I'm not going to like them as much at that number. But at Pick'em, just asking them to win the game, I can live with that.
All right, on the plus side, the Eagles are 6-3 against the spread and road openers, the last 9 as well. We apologize for Bano cutting in and out a little bit. But Bano's getting fired up, man. It looks like you're scaring people, Bano. You're scaring people. So you mentioned Who Ruined Your Sunday, and I do a Who Ruined Your Sunday bit every Monday on the Fantasy Sports Television Network. Very popular bit that I do. I basically just bitch about bad beats. And I seem to complain about Andy Dalton a lot. But here's a game that I do like. And here's another similar situation, another division rival in which history just repeats itself over and over and over again. And for all the talk about Marvin Lewis sucking and Andy Dalton sucking, well, whatever, it is what it is. They motherfucking own the Baltimore Ravens, and the Ravens aren't scaring me coming into this. Joe Flacco is not scaring anybody. Terrence West isn't scaring anybody. Woodhead's all right. You got Jeremy Maclin. Rashad Perryman's been a bust. There's not a lot to like about Baltimore's offense in this football game. And the Cincinnati Bengals have been very good in this spot. Bengals they always start the season off strong. They're very good in the month of September, the Bengals. And they match up really well with Baltimore. They own them.
I don't like either of these teams going into the season. This is going to be one of those sit back, observe, try to learn something, try to figure out what you can do with the Ravens and Bengals moving forward. I will say this. I don't like this Baltimore skill position group, not even maybe. We're talking about a situation here where this is a group that's very underwhelming. Jeremy Maclin, injury after injury, what you're going to get out of him. Mike Wallace has been a disappointment now for a couple of years. We talk about Perriman injured. Michael Campanaro now is going to have to move up, do more at wide receiver. I don't know if I trust that. That's a very mediocre running back core led by Terrence West. Gabe, as you mentioned. And again, we've got a situation here with, Joe Flacco. How healthy is he going to be this season coming off an injury? So there's a lot of question marks here with this Baltimore team. Cincinnati, I've got issues with them too. I mean, this Cincinnati offense, are they going to be able to put up points? Is Andy Dalton finally going to get away from these stupid, brain-dead, bonehead mistakes and turnovers in big spots in the football game when you can't afford it, when you're moving and knocking on the door of the 20-yard line of the opposition, and that's when you decide to turn the ball over like a dope? That's been Andy Dalton's problem now for years, and that's going to be something he's going to have to, an obstacle that he's going to have to overcome. I got issues with the Bengals offensive line in particular. I mean, you've talked about they lost a couple key pieces, Whitworth in particular, from that offensive line last year. Going to have to replace that. That was a mediocre offensive line last year too. I'm just not concerned. I'm just concerned they haven't gotten better. They actually might have gotten worse, and I'm not sure they have gotten any better along that offensive front. So it's two teams that I've got major issues with, major question marks about. Maybe I'll know a little bit more after this week 1 encounter as they face off.
And one thing you mentioned about Andy Dalton, Chris Meany talked about this. You talked about Dalton's numbers last year. It's very, very simplistic. A.J. Green was hurt. It's as simple as that. If A.J. Green is hurt, Andy Dalton struggles. And, the O-line did suck last year, but they're actually better now. I've got confidence in Joe Mixon. I think the Bengals are a sleeper team, actually. I think the Bengals are a sleeper team coming into this year. I think they've got a chip on their shoulder. Their skill position players are damn good. Their defense is good. Andy Dalton's good. The thing with Dalton is, like you said, Dalton will just make a dumb mistake at the worst possible time. But, people act like Andy Dalton goes 4-12 every year. Look at the winningest quarterbacks in the last 7 years, 6 years, 5 years in the National Football League. Andy Dalton's right there. The guy's a winner. It's just, they couldn't win in the playoffs and stuff. I just think they're in a better situation in Baltimore coming in here. Joe Flacco hasn't played in the preseason. He's fucking banged up. He's practicing. Even Harbaugh says he's behind the curve.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for Harbaugh. And Baltimore always find a way to win, with limited talent. That's what they do. But with that being stated, this is a tough spot. And Harbaugh struggled against Lewis. Baltimore, they don't win. There's no win there. They're 0-5 in the last 5 games against the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're 1-4 against the spread. They've covered one fucking time against these guys.
And you're going to find that in the NFL, where one team's just had an edge over the other in repeated meetings, especially in divisional matchups. And that's, as you mentioned, Gabe, that's been the case here with Cincinnati.
And Joe Mixon, Babano. Sorry to cut you off, but Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon can fucking pop an 80-yard touchdown run at any time. Anytime this kid touches the ball. Now, Jeremy Hill's been listed as the starter, but we know that Mixon's going to get his touches. And I'm telling you, Mixon is a big play threat. A.J. Green is healthy. A.J. Green's one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. Tyler Eifert, they've got weapons, dude. John Ross going to miss the first 2 games of the year. Big shock, right? But he's going to miss the first 2 games of the year. But I think the Bengals will be fine. I'm not saying they're going to rack up a shitload of points, but I'll tell you what, guys, right now. I am playing the Cincinnati Bengals in the Westgate Super Contest. I like them that much. I'm on the Bengals.
It'll be, you know what? The funny thing about Joe Mixon is he didn't drop his stock draft didn't go down, Gabe, because of lack of speed, lack of skill, lack of talent. It was the off-field issues, obviously, that caused that. But he looked all right in the preseason. There's no question about that. We'll see what he's able to do with the bright lights on here in Week 1. It's disappointing that these 2 teams, for me at least, Morency, that they're matching up here in Week 1. I looked at this as bet against versus bet against. I'm not in love with either of these teams right now going into the season. So it's just going to be one of those games we sit back and watch. But you know what's amazing? And we've talked about this on other SBR shows. I know Big Man and I have talked about this, Donnie, on the round table. Marvin Lewis has been head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals for almost half my life. How is that possible? How can that be? How can that actually be a reality situation that we're dealing with here in 2017? We're talking about a guy that hasn't won a playoff game with the Cincinnati Bengals, and here he is since 2000 or 2001. He's been the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals nearly half my life. Nearly half my damn life, and he's still there. He hasn't won a playoff game. It really is truly remarkable.
Well, it's not easy to win 113 games in the NFL with Bano. He's 113-94 with a 545 winning percentage.
Yeah, but
there's not a lot of guys with that record, that type of success. Like you said, he hasn't won a playoff game, but, they said the same thing about Marty Schottenheimer in San Diego. Well, we're 12-4 every year, but, fuck Marty Schottenheimer. Yeah, what have you guys been since? Fuck. What do you guys, you're 7-9 every year. I brought this up with, like, colleges. They want to run college, you want to run the coach out of town all the time, these guys, like Tennessee. Oh, let's fire Butch Jones. He's terrible. Yeah, because everyone's lining up to fucking take the Tennessee job, right? Yeah. Nick Saban's quitting Alabama to go there. I get the criticism. I can't dispute it. You're judged by your playoff victories, but there's a lot of guys that are coaching the NFL that aren't, don't even make the playoffs, right? You can't argue Marvin Lewis isn't a good coach. He's 0-7 in the playoffs. It is what it is. You can't erase that. But he's 113-94 with a 545 winning percentage.
Yeah, it's a different situation, too, for everyone. I mean, some people are going to put stock in regular season, even if the playoff record is spotty. And then there's some people, and I fall into that category, Gabe, and it's just a personal opinion. It doesn't mean one person or the other's wrong.
Well, what about Andy Reid? All right, so look, Andy Reid's been around forever. Andy Reid's never won jack shit. Is Andy Reid a shitty coach?
Yeah, but Andy Reid got to a Super Bowl one year with Philadelphia. Marty Schottenheimer won playoff game.
Yeah,
Marvin Lewis hasn't won one playoff game. Can I get one playoff win from you, buddy? One. Can I get one? Yeah. Can I get an amen? Can I get one playoff win here? Please, can I get one?
I can't dispute, but it's like, it's like saying Tracy McGrady, right? Tracy McGrady's in the Hall of Fame. He never won jack shit in the playoffs. I'm not defending the playoff futility. All right. I'm not defending the futility, but I think it's strong to state you can't believe that he's a coach in the league when the guy's 113-94.
I will say this: when he took over the Bengals, I'll give Marvin Lewis this. When he took over the Bengals, it was a mess. It was a disaster of a franchise. They have been at least competitive. They've had winning seasons. They've made the playoffs multiple years. So from that standpoint, Marvin Lewis deserves some credit for that. But at some point in time, I want to see you come through, get the job done in a big spot. And here we are in 2017. We're still waiting on that Marvin Lewis moment.
I don't know. So I'm looking right now, Babano, and in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, last 6 years since Andy Dalton's been there with Marvin Lewis, the Cincinnati Bengals record is 56-35. You think there's a lot of teams that are 21 games over 500 in the last 6 years?
Do you think your Bills will take that?
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, all right, so yeah, Marvin Lewis and Andy Dalton, they're big losers. 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, 10-5-1, 10-3, 6-9-1. That's Andy Dalton's record as a starter. 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, 10-5-1, 10-3, 6-9-1. Doesn't sound like a shit, That's what I'm saying. They fuck up at the wrong times, but I'll disagree in stating that Dalton and Lewis suck and shit. I mean, the numbers, you're not 56 and 35 as a starting quarterback in the NFL and sucking, you know?
Big games and big moments. I want to see what Andy Dalton does this year, and maybe it'll start changing my opinion. I got to see it.
So what else do you got for us, Papano?
All right, let's go on down this card. Let's see what else we can. I'm going to talk about a game where I think we're going to see points in bunches, and it's a game that I talked about at the IFBC. We're going to look for a high-scoring affair, Oakland, Tennessee. I'm not in love with the side, either one, although I can understand why Tennessee is a very popular, sharp side here. Oakland was favored, 1.5-point favorite on the road. Now they're about Tennessee, flip of favorites, 1.5, 2, 2.5, showing pretty much at a wide variety of sports books. And again, folks, sportsbookreview.com, the sports book rating guide. If you're not sure of why you should have multiple books or where you should sign up, that's where you go. All the information there, great info to sign up right there, sportsbookreview.com. Got to plug them a little bit. I think we're going to see points here in this football game. When you look at it, you've got two good quarterbacks here, Marcus Mariota, Derek Carr. I think you've got skill position talent. Tennessee's offensive line, Morency, I think they're totally underrated. I think they're going to be a very, very good offensive line, one of the better ones in the NFL this season. I like what I'm seeing from that group. You know, Oakland, a lot of people are going to say a lot of close wins last year, a lot of good fortune went their way. I've still got question marks about their defense a little bit. The secondary had some holes in it they're going to have to fill. Khalil Mack was the guy that got pressure for them up front on that defensive front for the Oakland Raiders, Gabe, but unfortunately they weren't getting a lot of pressures, hurries, just making life miserable on quarterbacks. Not many people outside of Khalil Mack were doing that on a consistent basis for the Oakland Raiders last season. So that's going to be a challenge for them. I've still got question marks about that defense going into the season. Look, they're going to be able to put up points. Derek Carr, I know everyone's a little worried, coming off a serious injury like he suffered in the second half of last season, but I think he's going to be fine. I think they're going to be able to put up points. I think Tennessee's going to be able to move the ball conversely as well in this game. I like the over. It's dropping a little bit, 50.5. I'll be looking to take the best number I can find and look for points in Music City.
Yeah, you know what? I've disagreed on a few of these with you, Babano. No debate coming on this one. I can't argue on this one. In fact, this was the first play that I gave this year. Yeah, this is the first play that I gave this year, actually. In the summertime, it jumped off the page at me, jumped off the screen, we should say. You look at this game, and I'm surprised it's actually come down. Even last week, it was 51.5 or so. I'm seeing 50.5 right now. I don't understand this either. I get it. It's week one, so they can't put a 54 up on the board. I've been burnt before by getting in love with these totals early in the year, but that's been with college more than professional football, Babano. I keep on referring back to that Raiders-Saints game last year when they opened up the season. It was a track meet. Was it 36-35? 37-36, whatever it is, when they went for the two, and they got it done. Tennessee's offense and the Raiders' offense, they're both they're both very efficient offenses, even though perception and reality, we talked about it. Kansas City Chiefs offense put up the exact same amount of fucking points as the Titans offense did last year. I think it's 23.8. Shitty offense. Yeah, well, but the Titans are explosive. Yeah, why? Because they have cooler looking uniforms, and Mariota's cooler looking than Smith. Like perception and reality, always two different things. But Tennessee's offense should be even better this year than they have been. Offense is going to be efficient with Carr. Neither defense can fucking stop anybody. We're talking about two of the worst top 5 secondaries in the National Football League. And you know what? The Raiders aren't very good on any facet of the defense, to be honest. All right, they don't get any pressure on the quarterback, the Raiders. They're ranked like 23rd against the run, and they're ranked like 24th against the pass. So basically, Tennessee is going to be able to do whatever they want to do. I think Tennessee is going to win this game, too. I think Tennessee is going to be able to do whatever they want to do on offense. If they want to run the ball up the middle with Murray and Derrick Henry, they're going to be able to do it with their little smash mouth shit. If they're going to want to run, Mariota out in the pocket and have him rolling around and throwing it down the field, they're going to be able to do it because the Raiders secondary won't be able to do jack shit to stop it. And then conversely, on the other side, Derek Carr is probably going to throw for like 307 yards or something like that, if not more. I can't disagree. I love the over. I like that bet a lot. I wish I could put it in the super contest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. Can't do that with totals. But yeah, I'm looking at this Oakland group in the secondary. I'm seeing David Amerson, Sean Smith, a safety. You got Carl Joseph, Reggie Nelson. Like, these are not guys I trust to shut down quality passing attacks this season. And it was a problem for them last year in terms of being able to get, opposing offenses that could throw the football effectively. That was a big time bugaboo last season for this Oakland Raiders team on the defensive side of the football. And I think they're going to have issues again. Again, they have the chance to prove me wrong here in week 1 against Tennessee, but I think the Titans are going to be able to move the ball with a balanced attack. They're going to be able to run the football. You like the running back tandem that they have. I think Delaney Walker at tight end is going to have a very good year for this Tennessee Titans team. And don't underestimate the acquisition of Eric Decker. I mean, if Eric Decker can at least stay healthy for the Tennessee Titans, avoid that injury bug that got him last year, I think he's still a guy that can contribute and be a factor and be a producer and an impact player at wide receiver, Gabe, for the Tennessee Titans. So again, getting good health from Eric Decker going to be key as well for this Titans team. But still, I think they've improved. They've upgraded their receiving core. Of course, we have to talk about the guy they drafted. There's no question about that. Corey Davis, Western Michigan. What a player he was there in that Broncos offense in the college ranks for years. He's going to be a big-time speedster and skill to that wide receiving core, something they desperately lacked last year, this Tennessee Titans team. So I think there's going to be a much improved offense. I think both offenses are going to move the ball. And I'm not against the Tennessee opinion either. I think Tennessee is an improved team. I bet them over their win total this season of 8.5. I think they can win 9 or more games and challenge to win this division in the AFC South. Look, I understand the Houston Texans defense is fantastic. It's going to be good again. What are you going to get at the quarterback spot? What are you going to get out of J.J. Watt? J.J. Watt's doing a good deed here.
Question J.J. Watt.
Yeah, with his injuries. I mean, he's doing a good work, obviously.
No, he's fine. He's fine. He's healthy now. He's ready to go. Houston, to me, Houston are a much better team than Tennessee. Tennessee are all fluff. Tennessee are they're flashy, right? They're trendy. They're flashy. They've got flashy. Fantasy football drives perception now, Babano. And Tennessee Titans, they're a sexy fantasy team, right? People love Mariota. People love DeMarco Murray. As far as Corey Davis is concerned, I'd slow down on Davis. He shouldn't have been drafted that high. There was a little bit of a reach. They wanted to get him. And I'll tell you, I agree with you. I think Delaney Walker will be the guy. And Rashard Matthews, of all people, watch, he's going to put up big fucking numbers on Sunday just because Mariota already has a relationship with him, right? You got Corey Davis, a kid. He knows Walker. He knows where Matthews is going to be. I agree with you with Decker, too. Decker's going to help. They're a fucking loaded team, but defensively, they're terrible. Like chunks. They give up a ton. They can't stop anybody. It's going to be, I like the Titans here. I think they're going to outscore the Raiders. We brought it up with the Raiders. I don't hate the Raiders, but you can't overlook the fact. They have a putrid pass rush, 23rd against the run, 24th against the pass. They were a 12-win team last year. Their winning margin of plus 31 was the slimmest in the history of the NFL of any team that ever won 12 football games before. They rolled the dice and it came up for them a lot last year. I think the Raiders, they could have some worse luck on the field. I can't disagree with the over in this game, though. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, to me, the Titans are never going to be a shutdown defense. Okay, that's just not going to be them. That's just not going to be their MO. Even here in 2017, even though they have made some upgrades, I actually do like that they brought in Logan Ryan to try to bolster that secondary here with this Tennessee Titans team. But they're never going to be that shutdown, hold teams to under 20 points routinely throughout the course of the season. Just play adequate defense, play serviceable defense. Don't just get lit up on a week in and week out basis, and let your offense take care of the rest. That's going to be the recipe and the winning formula, I think, for the Titans this year if they're going to win football games.
Tennessee Titans are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 season openers. This is interesting as well. The favorite, for one reason or another, is actually 8-1 against the spread in this series. The favorite, 8-1. As a favorite. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a toss-up. I looked at the team totals here in this football game too. I think, we can mix it up a little bit, talk a little props, but looking at the team totals here, and let me pop this up, team points two-way. I was a little bit surprised. I thought it was a little on the light side. The Raiders, 23.5. I'd be surprised if the Raiders were held under 23.5 points. And the Titans total is 26.5. This is where, the multifacet of the gamble can come into play here. We like the over a lot. We agree on that. We like Tennessee. We agree on that. But you can't say Tennessee's a lock. There's no such thing as a lock, but I can't sit here and say, like, ooh, like put it this way. I'm putting the Bengals in a super contest, but I don't know if I'm putting the Titans. But I do like them. But I would also take the Raiders over 23.5 because I think to win this game, you're going to have to get into the 30s. And if I bet on, if it's a little bit of insurance here, there's no way in fucking hell Tennessee are holding the Raiders to less than 24 points. I'll put it that way. Doesn't mean that Tennessee's not winning this game, but this game's getting into the low 30s, into the mid 30s, etc. There's going to be points put up on the board. I think the Raiders team total over 23.5 is worth a play, even if you're playing Tennessee still. Raiders team total over 23.5. Tennessee to win the football game and over 50.5. You're going to go 2-1 or probably 3-0 with this bet. I'm telling you right now. I like that angle.
And I like that Morency brings up the team total option with the Tennessee Titans. If you are in the camp going into this game that I don't trust this Tennessee defense just yet, they've got to show me something before I can lay 2.5, whatever the current number is right now with the Titans. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can take the Titans defense out of the equation and just look at a bet like team total with the Tennessee Titans over. So that all you are betting on is their offense to move the ball and put up
26.5 is a little high. And I see Chris Edge, he took his notes with Mark Lawrence at the IFBC. Yeah, the thing is, it came last year for the most part, Chris. I can't dispute it. We can't dispute also the Oakland Raiders are 11-1 against the spread in non-division, their last 12 non-division conference games. There are some trends with the Raiders side here. There's no doubt about it. We're not even getting into the early morning start. But I don't make a lot of the early morning start for the Raiders because it's the first game of the year. I think that shit sort of catches up to you as the season goes on. But I agree. Like I said, that's what's good about props too. Like if Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for a certain amount of yards, or the tight ends and wide receivers are all going to put up big numbers, but the Packers defense blows, why worry about the Packers covering when you can sort of cash the props banner? That's what I talked about at the IFBC, and a similar situation here as well with this Tennessee game with the Raiders. Listen, the Raiders are probably a better all-around football team than Tennessee are. Not by much, but without being stated, I do think Tennessee win. But I really like that Raiders over 23.5. I really do. The Raiders are scoring more than 23.5 fucking points in this game. They are.
They very well could. And what's funny is that you mentioned that is, again, you take if you are betting, or if you think a team is going to score points, move the ball on offense, but you think they've got a shitty defense and you don't trust them to get any stops, you hit the team total. You take the defense out of the equation. It's like the 5-inning bet in baseball, Morency. If you don't trust a bullpen, if you know this bullpen is flammable, it's a gas can waiting to explode in the latter innings, and you don't trust them worth a damn with a 1 or 2 or 3 run lead, you can take that bullpen right on out of the equation, bet a team in the first 5 innings instead. The derivative betting marketplace, team totals, props, 5-inning bets. Look at these kind of bets on maybe more than you do. If you don't really bet these kind of bets routinely, you should look at it. It's a really good market to explore for certain situations such as the ones we've talked about.
All right, so Babano. Is it just me, or can we not hear Babano?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you move your arms around so much, Babano, you're fucking your own frequency up or something.
I don't know what it is. I had issues actually earlier today for some reason. There was a modem cut out for 2 minutes. I don't understand why, but
you live in Hamilton. That's what the problem is.
That's why, exactly.
Yeah, there's, with all due respect,
blame Hamilton.
Those bastards at Cogeco Cable. Yeah, that's I didn't want to be an asshole and drop it, but Babano put it on the tee for me. He's like, yeah, I got a problem. I'm like, yeah, you live in Hamilton. That's your fucking problem.
Fucking sons of bitches, Cogeco.
I'm sorry, Hamilton. I'm sorry.
They won't even give me money back for a Sunday ticket not being on my sports pack. They say you got to pay the full price. Bullshit, I do. You're taking Sunday ticket. I got to go to Days Inn now with that. It's ridiculous. But don't get me started on that. Be here all night.
Yeah, so I just assume it's on you too. Because listen, My internet's not perfect either, as we know, Babano. And I know you know that, right? I've had my issues over the years, without a doubt. But I see, man, I've been real smooth this week. No issues at all. And it's the first time we've had any problems with the Google Hangout. So I'm blaming Babano.
Yeah, definitely. It's got to be all me for sure.
I blame Babano. All right, we're talking NFL Survivor a little bit and point spreads as well. But for Survivor, nobody's really talking about the Houston Texans. And I talked about this on the Fantasy Sports Radio Network tonight with Cam. Only 5% of the Survivor players at NFL.com are playing, and there's NFL.com have a Survivor League, and only 5% of the people have taken. And there's also, here's where the perception and reality thing comes in. Oh, the Houston Texans, they're untrustworthy. I don't know about them. You can't lay points with them. What about their quarterback? And like even you were talking this shit. What about J.J. Watt? What about him? What about Tom Savage? All this stuff. Well, here, put this in your pipe, Babano. The Houston Texans are 10-1 straight up and 8-2-1 against the spread in their last 11 division games. Bill O'Brien, this is for you Survivor players out there. Bill O'Brien is motherfucking 19-2 straight up the last 21 times he's been favored in a football game. All right? This is what the Houston Texans do. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and then they lose to the Patriots of the world on Monday Night Football. And then everyone's like, oh, they're not as good as we thought they were. And then they go back to beating the teams that they're supposed to beat, and then they get bounced in the playoffs. It's rinse and repeat with these guys. That's what they do. The Houston Texans are one of the best bets as a favorite in the National Football League. People don't realize this. 19-2 straight up. And how is he against the spread, Bill O'Brien, when he's listed as a favorite? 15-5-1 against the spread. Bill O'Brien gets bashed a lot. I know we had Jay Peach in the house last night, and he said he's a Texan fan and he was in Houston. And I've been critical of O'Brien in the past. But the one thing O'Brien does, he handles his business. He handles his business, and he beats teams he's supposed to beat. He beats the Jags like a motherfucking drum, man. Like a bunch of hippies Sunday afternoon in the park. All right? He dominates against the Jags, and he beats up on fucking teams he's supposed to. 19-2 straight up. It's like Urban Meyer type of numbers. You can't argue with that. 15-5-1 against the spread. And, oh, yeah, by the way, the Jacksonville Jaguars have lost 9 consecutive fucking road opening games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not backing Jacksonville here. It's not even a question of maybe for me. It's a question of, do you want to lay the points with Houston? And yeah, obviously, the Houston Texans are going to have to rely on their defense. There's no denying that. I don't know what exactly you're going to get from Tom Savage. I mean, it's a guy that was very, very erratic throwing the football down the stretch with the Houston Texans last year. We'll see what he does here, but do you trust the Jacksonville quarterback situation anymore? I sure as fuck do not. Whether it's Chad Henne, whether it's Blake Bortles, it's Bortles, but I mean, Bortles to me has just been a complete disappointment, time in, time out for this Jacksonville franchise. It's time for him to step up. It's now or never for this guy. He's got to make things happen because Jacksonville made a point, Morency, to really insulate him with pieces around him on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the football. They've really made some good additions, especially on the defensive side of the football. This Jacksonville Jaguars team, I think Jalen Ramsey at cornerback that they drafted is going to be a star cornerback potentially. That ceiling is there for him in the NFL. But again, what are you going to get from Blake Bortles? What are you going to get from the guy? That is what it all is going to boil down to here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And until I see steps of progress, if I see steps of progress, and it's a big fucking if right now, I can't back Jacksonville. So yeah, anyone looking to lay with Houston, don't forget the emotion of the situation with the hurricane down there. Not that it's going to be a big deal. Like I say, motivation in week 1 should be equal. Everyone is 0-0, new season, new hope, fresh opportunities for everyone. But yeah, Houston's going to be a little bit more charged up than maybe they normally would for a week 1 game.
Well, and then you have and not to make light of it, because I'm not one of these, I'm not a tragedy better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not making light of it or anything. But it's going to be an emotional day there. Like you said, it's going to be an emotional day. The city of Houston, and the surrounding area was fucking devastated. People lost their lives. Houston's a great city. I've been there before. Houstonians are good people. Texans are good people. Houstonians are very friendly. And, we see this with the Hurricane Harvey stuff. It's going to be an emotional day there. And, yeah, Blake Bortles fucking sucks, all right? Like, let's just call it out for what it is. And, you can name drop all you want, but Bano, the guys on defense the Jags have, whatever. They've had these guys for years there. Like, and they keep on adding these new guys. Same with the Bills. The Bills are like the Jags. Oh, we got this guy. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't change anything. And their offense is terrible. Bortles blows. And you mentioned Tom Savage. Listen, I like Deshaun Watson a lot. But the fact of the matter is Tom Savage was better than Deshaun Watson was. Tom Savage had a great preseason. 27 to 36, completed 75% of his passes, 46 yards, no interceptions, touchdown at a quarterback rating of 102.3. I know it's only the preseason, but Savage has been around in the system for a couple of years now. And I used to be the biggest Tom Savage basher. I remember this fucking fuckhead at Rutgers and Pitt and stuff. But he's turned himself into an NFL quarterback. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's got a plethora of weapons to work with. They're deep at every position, the Houston Texans. If they can get elite quarterback play, the Houston Texans could push the Patriots. Like, I think they could. They gave the Patriots all they can handle last year. There was a pick six and there was a punt return for a touchdown. If they can get good quarterback play, but the thing is, we all know Tom Savage can't beat Tom Brady in a playoff game in Foxborough. That's not going to happen. But I think the Houston Texans are the real fucking deal. I think they're a good team, and I think they beat down. It's always a sweat job with the Texans, but I think they're going to cover the number. It's climbing, though. It's up to 6 now.
Yeah, I lean to the under in this game. If I were to bet it, that's my strongest lean on this game. Gabe, is the under. I think it's a 23-10 type of game. I could see 23-10 Houston, actually, final score, something like that in this football game. And hey, if you're Tom Savage, yeah, he did have a solid preseason. This is going to be one of the few times this season you're going to be able to say, I'm the better quarterback in this matchup. You better win this game, Tom Savage, because in this matchup, you are indeed the better quarterback.
Well, I see that people are saying that Tom Marino has an opinion on everything all the time. He's like, Savage is good because he played against second stringer. Watson was starting. I don't know if you actually watched the preseason games, Tom Marino, but Deshaun Watson didn't start.
That, by the way, Tom Marino is
Tom Savage started, for the record, in the preseason. So,
Tom Marino
at least just for the record, Tom Savage. Deshaun Watson was the one playing against the backups.
Tom Marino is Jeff Nadeau, big man's best friend. I mean, absolutely. I mean, those two are just inseparable.
Yeah, I saw Nadeau was telling him to shut up earlier, to be honest. So, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying. The guy wants to rebuff everything we fucking say here. Hey, for the record, no. Tom Savage was the one starting.
Yeah, he puts up the stop sign for a lot of people's opinions.
Tom Marino Savage. Hey, Deshaun Watson was the one coming off the bench. So what part of this don't you understand, Tom Marino? So what, you think Deshaun Watson fucking started, then why isn't he starting now? Anyways, I'm not going to get into it. All right. So next,
Joe Marino never met another person's opinion he liked. I mean, that's
All right. Thanks, Ness. All right. For fuck's sakes, it's like, all right, I'm gonna start. Yeah, Deshaun Watson started. That's why and he started and he looked great, but they're going with fucking Savage anyways. All right, so it's like Bill O'Brien stated. They asked him point blank. They said, he said, I like what Deshaun Watson did. More further ahead than any rookie quarterback I've ever been around in my life before. And like O'Brien said, he said, what can I do? He said, Tom Savage has done everything. He goes, this kid came in prepared. He goes, I think the kid's fucking had 3 incomplete passes in the whole camp. Like, people don't realize Tom Savage has been throwing darts. Sometimes motivation can, light a fire under your ass, right? So, he knows Savage. And Savage knows, too. I'm going to lose my job to Deshaun Watson eventually, and at least if I play well here, I can be like Brock Osweiler and make big money. Fuck, Mike Glennon just got money. But, Bano, and I mean this. Tom Savage is better than Mike Glennon is by far. Mike Glennon fucking sucks, all right? Tom Savage will be fine. All he has to do is just let the defense do the job, hand the football off to Miller and Foreman and everybody, get the ball up to Hopkins. They're going to be just fine. The Texans are going to be fine. They're going to win and they're going to cover.
I definitely am not. I'm definitely closer to laying it with Houston than taking it with Jacksonville. Believe me, but I hope you get it, buddy.
Shout out to Nate in Seattle. What's going on, Nate? Thanks for the kind words, bro. All right, so what else you got for us, Babano? I'll share some of the games I like, but what else you got for us? What do you like? Anything else in the NFL before you want to go to college?
Yeah, Carolina, San Francisco is interesting. I don't think people are nuts to like San Francisco in this spot, plus the points. Certainly the way I'd lean. Look, I know San Francisco, Brian Hoyer, I know the offense rebuilding a little bit, but that's going to be a very good defense. And let's not underestimate what Atlanta loses and San Francisco gains with the offensive mind of Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan schemed one of the better offenses I've seen in years with the Atlanta Falcons. He was able to exploit opposing defenses, it seems, on a week in and week out basis. He would find that area to attack and exploit it, and the offense would do that and be able to pick apart opposing defenses. You give a guy, or at least I do, Gabe, I give a guy like Kyle Shanahan that opportunity, that chance at least, to make something out of Brian Hoyer, to make something out of the San Francisco 49ers offense coming into this new season. And as much as I like Carolina to be better this season, I'm not ready to lay 5.5 on the road here, West Coast, in the first game of the season. With all the talk that Carolina is going to be better, this has a little bit of a hype media thing sort of pushing the Carolina train a little bit here. That's worrying me a little bit. More than anything, I like the under in this game. I really do. I mean, I think Carolina is not going to be able to move the football up and down the field. I know Christian McCaffrey and his skill and his ability to catch passes out of the backfield opens up some new things that Carolina can do offensively with their playbook. But I don't think it's going to be easy for them moving the ball up and down against the San Francisco defense. But on the flip side, San Francisco's offense, for as much as I like Shanahan, could take some time. They're going to have to rely on their defense. But I think long-term, Morency, San Francisco's offense could be able to be better than people think. I know it's not the best quarterback in the NFL in Hoyer, far from it, but at least Shanahan has a little bit of a connection, a little bit of a past with him from the Cleveland days, and a situation now where at least they get some time to put some things in the playbook, put some tricks. And Shanahan will do that. He's always going to put a wrinkle or two in that offensive game plan on a week in and week out basis. I know people are thinking San Francisco a hopeless franchise, but you had absolute jabronis. People had no clue, none, zero, what they were doing before as head coach. And Chip Kelly and Jim Tomsula, come on, Jim Tomsula didn't know what the hell he was doing there in San Francisco. So they got someone in there that's smart, that's innovative, it's an up-and-comer, a blue chipper from a head coaching perspective. San Francisco, if they hang around in this game, would not shock me in the least.
Yeah, I gave this earlier in the week on TV, and I got like thousands of people telling me to go fuck myself on YouTube for it. My bold prediction of the week earlier in the week. I think San Francisco can win this game outright as well. And, due to the fact we've talked about it a lot throughout the week, San Francisco 49ers have won 6 consecutive season openers somehow. And they've beaten some good teams along the way. We all remember that Viking team from 2 years ago that was really good. And they were able to fuck them up and get it done. It's amazing to me that it's a franchise record.
Everybody loved Minnesota that game, too, going into that week.
Of course, yeah.
Everyone loved the Vikings. It was a Viking party, and they all got...
But it's week one. It's like the Bears game. We'll get to the Bears game in a second. But since it's week one, man, it's like baseball, man, the home opener and shit. Shitty teams win. It doesn't mean they're winning the World Series, right?
Yep.
But San Francisco, it's amazing that Joe Montana was never able to win 6 consecutive season openers. Or into, I don't think Steve Young was a starter for 6 years, but let's say even from the Montana era into the Young era. So even the classic great San Francisco 49er teams were never able to win 6 consecutive season openers, yet they're on a 6-season win opener now. I wouldn't be shocked if they lose this game, but in a heartbreaker, I do like the points. I like the 5.5 a lot. Maybe roll the dice on the plus 210 on the money line or so. But I think the point spread's a little bit high. I think Carolina's in a bounce-back spot. I just think, like you said, it's going to be a smash-mouth football game. It's going to be a lower-scoring game. I don't really get the total of this one. Like I was talking earlier, I don't get the total of the Justin Tucker prop being 40.5 motherfucking yards. I don't get this one being 48. It's too high. They're going by last year that San Francisco gave up 30 points a game. Only the New Orleans Saints gave up more points per game last year than San Francisco, and San Francisco gave up 30. New Orleans gave up 29. So it's hard to give up 30 points. That's like college type numbers in the NFL. But you look at the John Lynch factor that comes in here right now, and just the mentality. And if you watch them in the preseason, you watch their attitude in camp. It's a very aggressive, we want to knock your fucking head off attitude. and it's translating onto the field. They got a lot of mean dudes, and you look at the depth that they have on defense right now. Defensive end, Eric Armstead, Earl Mitchell, right defensive tackle, DeForest Buckner, right defensive end, Tank Carradine. We got Eli Harold. We got middle inside linebacker, Navarro Bowman. Reuben Foster, who's a stud, and he fell in the draft because of his shoulder. His shoulder's fine. He's fucking killing people. All right, he's going to be one of the hardest hitters in the National Football League, this kid out of Bama. He's looking great. Navarro Bowman, Reuben Foster, and Rashard Robinson is a fucking wolf pack, man, of linebackers, all right? When you get hit by these fuckers, you're going to know you're getting hit. Very perfect, no. But they're all right. They've got some bodies back there. And Cam Newton, that offensive line in Carolina is always a little bit spotty. I could see this game being like a 21-17, 2017, 23-20. But I'm with you, and I think Shanahan probably has a trick up the sleeve and some weird trick play to try to get a win in his first ever game as a head coach. I'm buying in. I like the under, and I think we got a live home dog with the San Francisco 49ers getting 5.5 points.
Yeah, and Carolina, all this talk about the turnaround, I just don't like I don't like that they're laying this many points on the road week one. That's right away a concern for me right there. And again, Carolina's offense, you got to see it. I mean, Kelvin Benjamin, the one positive for them, looked very good in the preseason, but can he stay healthy? Can he do it for a full season? And who's going to step up around him at wide receiver to help Cam Newton in that passing game? You can't just throw to Benjamin all the time on the outside. You can't just dump the ball off to McCaffrey all the time, and you can't just hand it off all the time. You got to have some other weapons on the outside.
I'm worried about McCaffrey. It's McCaffrey's playing. It's basically his home. Well, his family are from Denver. And for the record, too, if you guys are unaware, Christian McCaffrey's little brother, Dylan, will be the Michigan Wolverine quarterback next year. He's already there, but he's redshirt. He's going to be the quarterback next year. For Jim Harbaugh. That's when Michigan are really going to fucking start taking off. But I'm worried McCaffrey's going to, McCaffrey's a stud, man. He's going to pop one. I'm worried he's going to score a touchdown. He probably will, especially playing, the games of Frisco, Stanford, etc., Bay Area, and all that type of stuff. But, we praised the defense of San Francisco, or at least the talent and the new culture change that they have here. But looking at the offense as well, I'm a big Carlos Hyde guy. And I remember I laughed when Greg Rosenthal reported, Carlos Hyde doesn't fit the offense. He's going to get cut. Yeah, when? Is he getting cut tomorrow? So Carlos Hyde's going to be the starting running back. They're a little thin in the backfield right now after him, but Carlos Hyde's a good back as long as he's healthy and he's out there. Brian Hoyer was, moderately successful at Cleveland with Shanahan a couple of years ago there when Manziel was there and that stuff. Hoyer was actually 4-3, I think, at one point, and then the wheels fell off for them. I'm a big Pierre Garçon fan. I am. Pierre Garçon is a professional wide receiver. The guy's going to get you some first downs. He's won a Super Bowl before. He's played in big football games. He's just a solid vet type of guy. Trent Taylor out of Louisiana Tech is a sleeper. This kid's a baller. That's why they let Curley go, because they like Taylor so much right now. And their offensive line is solid as well. You don't win football games on paper, but looking on paper right now, the San Francisco 49ers look like a tough team to play.
And if they get a wee bit of pass protection in this football game for Brian Hoyer, there might be some plays to be made against Carolina's secondary. I am not totally sold on this, what James Bradbury, Captain Munnerlyn brought in here in this Carolina secondary to try to bolster this group, which did have some issues last year. So we'll see what they're able to get from guys like that. Daryl Worley, too. I don't know if he's a guy that I would consider shutdown cornerback by any stretch for Carolina. So they've got some concerns at the back end. It's going to be the question of, can Brian Hoyer get the time required? Because this is not exactly a guy that's got that dual threat mobility aspect to him. Can he get the pass protection? If he does, they're going to be able to test that Carolina secondary. Still, at least in my view, has some question marks coming into the new year.
All right, our boy Nate in Seattle is asking about the Seattle Green Bay game. And I'm going to be in the minority in this one probably, but I'm taking the road team. I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks. I told a funny story earlier on Red Heat and Rage Radio tonight. It's a true story, too. I should probably be nervous, but I get recognized a lot recently. I don't know what the deal is, but I think I have me and Cam at our that fantasy convention, and they put our faces in the subways in Toronto, all right? Toronto's a big city, so our faces are literally like in subways and shit and on buses. So I've never seen it, though. All right. I don't really take the subway or the bus very often. I don't leave my neighborhood very often, the studio, whatever. But everywhere I fucking go, all right? Like, I have fucking some chick in my condo that's never talked to me in fucking years. She asked me the other day if I'm an actor. She goes, "Are you an actor?" And, you know, I was blazing a spliff on my balcony yesterday, and one of my neighbors has never talked to me before, looked down and said to me, "I'm a big fan." I was like, hey. I'm thinking, great. Fuck, man. I hate when people know where I live. Fuck, you know? You know, these fucking people. Anyways. So today I walk out of my condo on the street, and I'll be honest, I was going to a dispensary. So I was like, damn, I got to go to the dispensary before the radio show. So I'm going to a dispensary. I walk outside my condo. Yeah, this is a true story, guys. I walk outside my condo, and there's like a fucking mob-looking dude. You know, slick, sort of younger dude, but like he's got the chains and the bling, and he's like driving a fucking Lexus with tinted windows. And, you know, I sort of made eye contact with the guy. I'm like, oh, fuck this guy. I'm like, this guy's either here to pick up a really hot chick or someone owes this guy money. And I come out of my condo, and the guy says to me, "Gabriel Morency." And I look up, I'm like, yeah. And he doesn't say anything. He just goes, "Gabriel Morency." And I just had a thought. I'm like, fuck, this is like good. I was like, is this guy about to get out of his car and shoot me? So I'm like, fucking, I'm like, hey. I say, hey, how you doing? He doesn't miss a beat. He just goes, who should I take tomorrow? The Chiefs or the Patriots? And I said, well, I don't want them to cost you a lot of money or anything, but I actually think the Chiefs can cover the 9. And then he goes, what's your best bet of the week this week? And I said, I'm going to surprise you, but I like the Cincinnati Bengals minus the 3. And he goes, all right, good stuff. Thanks for the picks. And the guy just drove off.
I'm telling you, Morency.
Like, so what, people wait outside my condo now asking me for fucking picks? I realized after, he's probably on the phone. He's like, yeah, it's him. He lives there. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm going to start wearing a hood and shit. Fuck, man. Start wearing a fucking hood, like, you know. I gotta like keep a low profile.
Yeah, go undercover. Morency superstar. That is what you are. See, everybody loves you here. Yeah.
Now I see why rich people are like private and shit, man. You know what I mean? I need like back entrances and hoods and shit. Like, you know, I'm just a schmuck and I got people outside my door. Fuck.
Yeah. Unbelievable. That's amazing. You think how can how can this many people recognize me, know me, stop me and say, hey, how are you doing? But here we are. I mean, that's the way it is.
Yeah, people are like, hey, there's the
You're an underground sensation. You're an underground sensation. It's been that way for 16 years. You're the best kept secret going.
Yeah. People are like, there's the motherfucker that owes the money. Chris Edge talking now indoors, baby. Talking about dispensaries now. All right, so sorry, Nate Jonda. I met you, Nate, right? You were at the IFBC. I remember meeting a dude from Seattle, right? All right, well, I promise, Kevin. Next, we'll talk about the Chargers game. Right now, Seattle. Here's an interesting thought here. So, Seattle, the window of I did a video on the Seattle Seahawks earlier in the summer, and, man, I got fucking hate mail. And, man, people fucking hated me in Seattle. Like, I said that the window was closing. I didn't say they sucked. I said the window was closing. And then they got really pissed. Then I pissed them off when I told them, you guys have all been fans since 2014, fucking faces. So Seahawks fans got upset. But then when I did the season preview, they got all happy again when I said that the Seahawks are really good. So that's the theme on YouTube. Fuck, if you like someone's team, they like you. If they don't, they don't. But I'm telling you what. Look, they wanted to trade Richard Sherman, and they did it. Sherman didn't rock the boat. He said, you know, I get it. It's a business. I have no problem with that. He goes, just trade me to a good team. I got no problem with it. They didn't trade him. He didn't bitch. They don't like Russell Wilson. This is true. That's not TMZ gossip. It's a fucking fact, all right? They don't like him, all right? Even though he's a star player, he's their best player, he's a great player, they don't like him in the room. You know, it was confirmed, the whole story, Sherman throwing footballs at him, talking shit. The defense talks so much shit to fucking Wilson. You know, he's like the class fucking pet. Pete Carroll had to tell the guy, stop harassing the quarterback so much, for real. They're like, stop calling him a bitch, stop calling him names. You know, and, you know, remember they said he wasn't black enough for the brothers on the team. I'm not going to go down that road as a white guy and talk like, you know, about that. But there was no dispute that they thought that he wasn't one of them. And I'm talking about the whole team. That basically, you're fucking getting all the credit and shit. You fucking cost us the Super Bowl. You're doing Microsoft fucking ads. You're fucking walking around talking about Jesus water and shit. You're fucking Sierra. And, you know, whatever, man. We don't feel like you're one of us, you know? And Russell Wilson is taking this to heart. And Seattle have a fucking chip on their shoulder coming into this year. Pete Carroll's old, man. He might look young and shit, but he's not. He's not. Pete Carroll's been around a long time. He's getting up there in age. Pete Carroll's not going to be around forever. Russell Wilson's in the prime of his career right now, but the defense is aging. The time is now for Seattle. They understand it. I think they're a bullet short from winning the Super Bowl type of deal, but I'm not going to count these guys out to get back to the Super Bowl. I think Seattle have a fucking chip on their shoulder. I think they're a dangerous football team. I think they had a great preseason. I think Russell Wilson is in the best shape of his life. No more pudge or anything like that. Russell Wilson is also meaner now. He's got an attitude a little bit. He knows this. He knows we all know it. He knows that the teammates don't like him. He's made a point of it in training camp to be more one of the guys. He's made a point of it, you know, to go up to a locker. What's going on, guys? You know, we good? You want to go out? You know what I mean? Like, Russell Wilson doesn't drink and shit either, right? So that's another barrier. So, you know, it's tough. But Russell Wilson has to learn. Buy them a bunch of Rolexes and shit, and they're all going to love you, right? It's very simple. But Wilson's done this year, and everyone around the Seahawks are like, he gets it. And I swear, everyone in the NFL now loves Colin Kaepernick. The beef with Kaepernick before, even when they went to the Super Bowl, was he wasn't a team player. They said Kaepernick walks around with his fucking headphones on, doesn't talk to anybody, and it pisses everyone off. And Wilson's the same way. So Wilson gets it this year. I think the team chemistry with the Seahawks is much better than it has been since they won. Success gets to your head sometimes. I know. Like, get to your head, dysfunctional, all right? I think they're all back on the same page. They all get it. Listen, we don't have to be best friends, but we only have a couple of years left here together, if that. This might be it. They might get rid of me next year, Sherman. You know, Earl Thomas, I'm old. You know, their window is now, and I think they got a chip on their shoulder. I think they're going to go into Green Bay, and they're going to beat the Green Bay Packers outright in week 1. Russell Wilson thrives in big games, all right? We're talking earlier about Cousins and Dalton not thriving in big games. Russell Wilson, 5-1 straight up and against the spread the 6 times he's played against a Super Bowl winning quarterback, all right? Russell Wilson's playing against Super Bowl winning quarterback. Not to mention the last 2 times these two teams played, the Green Bay Packers beat them up pretty good, all right? I love the way Doug Baldwin looks. I got Jimmy Graham on 3 of my fucking fantasy league teams. I think Jimmy Graham, Doug Baldwin, Russell Wilson and company are going to go up and down the field on the Green Bay Packers. The game's going over the number, odds plus the points, and I motherfucking love the Seattle Seahawks teased up to +10 over 44 Babano.
Wow, that's one hell of a breakdown. I'll tell you what, and what I love about it too is Gabe attacked this dissection of the Seattle Seahawks from a Dr. Fraser Crane perspective. How ironic is that? Because that show, the spinoff of Cheers Fraser, was set in Seattle. That's where that show emanated from. So
yeah,
he's talking about.
Good, I like that. Good comparison. But yeah, and you know, I don't like getting into the you hear this guy's got into a fight at the strip club. Yes, so what? You know what I mean? Me and Cam argue sometimes, right? Like, you know, like so teammates are gonna argue and shit, but it was real. Like there was animosity, and they were going to sign Colin Kaepernick this year there. They had no – Pete Carroll's a 911 truther. Fuck. You think he's got a problem with Kaepernick? You know what I'm saying? No. You know, when the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, one of the big generals came, was a big Seahawks fan, and Carroll asked him about 9/11 and shit. And the guy thought he was joking, and Carroll's like, no, I'm serious. Like, he goes, we all know you're lying, right? He goes, what really happened? And, like, they had to get the general away. They were like, all right, that's it, coach. Right? But Pete, what happened was the guys in the room were so fucking happy they were going to bring Kaepernick in. They were like, oh, if Wilson gets hurt, Kaepernick will be our guy. They were fine with it. So it was that bad. So all I'm saying is their room is cleaner now. Page, I think Wilson aired it out and shit. I think they're all on the same page coming into this year. I really do. And the Packers secondary shaky. I think the game's going to go over. I think there's going to be a lot of points put up on the board in this game too. I don't think either team's going to stop each other.
Yeah, this is one of the games. I know it's going to be the Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Fox special, that late window, 4:25 Eastern on Sunday. It's going to be the big game nationally. Everyone's going to be watching it. I have a very little opinion on the side, but I will say about Gabe's point about Russell Wilson making himself more affable to his teammates. There's something to that if Gabe's right on the money with this, if he is indeed correct, and this does show on the field that Russell Wilson, hey, he's hanging out with his teammates more. He's conversing with them more. They're going out for nights at a bar or just doing things together as a team more. Russell Wilson with his teammates more than he did in the past. What's that mean really in the grand scheme of things? Well, it means suddenly your offensive linemen, those big ham hocks in front of you, they're going to want to pass protect a little bit harder for you.
Babano.
Yep.
It's listen, I'm working in a studio in a stressed out industry. Sometimes team morale can be bad. Office morale can be bad. It's amazing. Look, tomorrow they're sending us free pizzas and everyone's fucking happy. You know what I mean? And then suddenly people go to work and they're a little bit more chipper about it. It's not so much that, whether someone likes each other. No one likes each other. It doesn't matter. No one's asking anyone to fucking like each other. What they're asking is to stop throwing footballs at them and stop fucking calling them a bitch. You know what I mean? There's a fucking difference, right? There's a, it's a whole vibe and atmosphere. Teams in the NBA don't win. Teams fighting on the sidelines don't win. Teamwork and chemistry is a real thing. It's a real thing. And it happens. Teams win, and then they go down. They all think they're stars. The greed kicks in. Seattle went through this. It happened. It is what it is. But I talked about it. Russell Wilson, 5-1 straight up and against the spread as an underdog against Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Here's another one, courtesy of Mark Lawrence's database. Pete Carroll, 14-1 against the spread as an underdog when playing with revenge. 14-1 against the spread. The Packers have beaten the Seahawks the last 2 times. Listen, the Packers, I'm high on the Packers coming into the year too. I think Packers are the real deal, but I think Seattle are a little bit better. And I think that we have a double revenge situation here. And even if you don't want to take the 3, I love the over 51. And I really do sincerely believe that a Seattle teaser up to +10 over 44, you're going to put money in your fucking account right there.
Well, that's the thing. We're going to see now if there's a little more harmony with Wilson and his teammates, the offensive line blocks a little harder, protects a little harder, the receivers run better routes. We're going to see if that's going to happen with this team. The thing that's fascinating about this game, it's going to be which team does a better job of exploiting the other team's weakness, because I think Green Bay is still a very weak team in the secondary. I mean, their safeties are good with Clinton Dix and Morgan Burnett. That's okay. But the cornerbacks, I think, are still a little spotty on this Packer team, can be exploited. But can Seattle exploit them? Their offensive line is still a major question mark for me coming into this season. George Fant goes down with that injury, the left tackle. Now I've got to trust Reese Odiambo at left tackle. Let's see how he does. That's going to be the guy I really watch a lot in this game. The left tackle position for the Seattle Seahawks. How does he hold up? Now I know Russell Wilson's got that magnificent ability to scramble. Pocket collapses. He's able to get outside, keep his eyes down the field, find open receivers, and still throw the ball with a great high degree of accuracy. He may have to do that quite a bit in this football game because that offensive line is still a work in progress, at least in my mind. So can Seattle exploit that Green Bay defense that I think is a little weak? But on the flip side, is Green Bay's offense going to be able to move the ball against the Seattle defense that I do think is going to be better this season? I know that it was a down year for them. Their stats across the board were not as good last season, particularly against the pass. I think they're going to be improved. They're going to have that chip on their shoulder on that side of the ball. I think Richard Sherman in particular is going to be a guy that's going to be looking to play a lot better. He got picked on, but Richard Sherman's had a great career. He's had great plays in the past, but he got picked on a little bit at times last year. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be motivated to have a better season in that secondary for the Seattle Seahawks. So to me, it comes down to which team's able to exploit the other team's weakness, because I do think we have a weakness with both teams in this football game. It's about which team's able to take advantage of it better.
You're killing us, Babano. You're killing us now.
What's up?
Babano's cutting in and out here once again. All right, so we're going to let Babano go in a minute here anyways or two, but before we do, if we get Babano back. We got you back here, Babano? You got your audio all good?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you back here, Babano.
All right.
All right. So they asked us, Buddy asked us about the Chargers and the Broncos game. This game's a tricky game, actually, the Chargers and the Broncos game. You know, historically, and I bet this matchup a lot over the years. I watch a lot of Chargers games, and I got my boy in Denver that part of the Super Contest with, and we play a lot of Bronco games over the years in the Super Contest. So this is a tough one. And I'll tell you, historically, I've been on the San Diego Chargers in this matchup over the years. But generally, when they go to Denver, they get points. And you know, it surprises me. We were looking at I'm looking at the recent point spreads here, and you know, it's very rare that it's 3.5 like this, especially in Denver. I like, you know, it's tough. And the Chargers didn't show me anything at all in the preseason, Babano, like whatsoever. I think they're dysfunctional. I think it's ridiculous that fucking Phillip Rivers lives in San Diego still, and he fucking drives in every day to Los Angeles. You know, the guy's fucking what? He's an old guy. He's spending 3 hours a day in traffic. It's ridiculous. Anthony Lynn, I've talked about this repeatedly. Anthony Lynn started the season last year as the running backs coach for the Buffalo Bills. Got promoted to offensive coordinator because Greg Roman got fired and Rex Ryan's an idiot. And the next thing you know, Anthony Lynn was the coach because Rex Ryan's an idiot and got canned. And now suddenly he's the head coach. I'm not sure Anthony Lynn's ready to be the head coach of a National Football League team. Then you got the Broncos in here with Trevor Siemian and stuff. I think the Broncos are the play here. I don't love it, but I think the number's fair at 3.5. I don't trust the Chargers coming into this game. You know, it might be close. I could see, you know, San Diego always fuck themselves late and lose heartbreakers, right? So I could see Denver winning but not covering this game, Babano. But I don't have an ultra strong opinion on it, but if I had to, I'd play the Broncos here. I don't trust the Chargers.
Yeah, I bet the Chargers at an earlier number for a small play. I don't like them as much now. And I seem to be one of those guys that bangs the head against the wall year in and year out, Gabe, in terms of expecting this LA Chargers team now to be better every year. And it seems like there's issues every year. There's always injuries. This team is just crippled, unfortunately, no pun intended, with injuries, it seems, year in and year out that derail their season. Turnovers have been an issue. I mean, they've just had to deal with so many problems the last couple of years. We'll see what we get from this Chargers team. Obviously now the relocation's a factor. The Phillip Rivers scenario, which you outlined, Gabe, that's something you got to take into consideration. You know, Keenan Allen is expected to be a big-time receiver for this football team. Is he going to be better? Or is he going to be able to stay healthy this season? We know Hunter Henry really came on, proved himself to be a pretty solid tight end for this team. But, you know, you look at Russell Okung at left tackle spot. I mean, Russell Okung's a guy that's never been able to stay healthy. Russell Okung's never been a guy that's been able to play with any sort of consistency. So there's concerns a little bit on that Chargers offensive line from that standpoint. I think up front, they're very talented up front. I mean, you've got Brandon Mebane, you've got Corey Lugitt, you've got Joey Bosa, who is a pain in the neck for opposing quarterbacks last season that I think is going to have a very good career for him. I think if this secondary can stay healthy, they're decent, especially Jason Verrett. He's a guy they really missed when he went down to injury last season. There's hope for the Chargers. There is, but you know, it seems like they're snake bit. The gods are against them year in and year out. They're never able to stay healthy. They've already suffered a couple of key injuries in training camp and in the preseason, which is a big-time concern for me. So we'll see what we get from the Chargers, but I'm not ready to lay points with Denver just yet. We'll see what we get from them. Trevor Siemian obviously been named the quarterback. Not that they have another choice. I mean, Paxton Lynch was clearly not ready, and of course Brock Osweiler somehow falls off a turnip truck and is back with this Broncos team. So very tough game. But I thought there was a little value with the Chargers at 4.5. Now that it's closer to 3, you're losing a lot of that value right now.
All right, Babano, it's amazing. We've gone like 2 hours. Not you 2 hours, but I've been on 2 hours without a break. So give us your college game you wanted to talk about, and then I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll come back with some closing thoughts and throw some picks at you. We'll take a look at the props for tomorrow night's games, remind you about all the contests and all the great sports books. Remember, guys, give a shout-out to sportsbookreview.com. I'm not sitting here for free right now, all right? To be honest with you, all right? I'm not sitting here for free right now. So give a shout out to sportsbookreview.com and go to the website, pick a fucking sports book, all right? Pick a book. It's as simple as that, man. You know, you're looking for an account, pick a book, click a fucking thing. SBR gets credit. They know, that sports books know. All right, SBR sending guys their way. All right, so nothing's free in this world, guys. And SBR's not asking for anything. They're just asking you to bet at some sports books, like Zach Jones asked earlier. So I don't think we're asking too much. But Bano, college football before we can let you go here.
Yeah, earlier on the round table, just to remind everyone, I like Wake Forest plus 1.5 against Boston College. That number has moved a little bit. Look, Boston College was not very good last week, even though they escaped Northern Illinois with a victory. They needed a last-second missed field goal by the Huskies to escape with that win. I didn't like what I saw from Anthony Brown, the quarterback. He was very erratic. I like this Wake team to be improved a little bit this year. Dave Clawson and that team finally put that ridiculous thing behind them where they were having this dope radio announcer basically giving the opponent their play calls, their schemes, their game plans. Now that's behind them. They can push that aside. They had a great bowl game against Temple last year. They absolutely crushed Presbyterian. Now I understand now they're playing a conference foe. It's not going to be as easy. But now Boston College here at home. Chestnut Hill is not a dominant home field by any stretch. BC is just 3-9 against the spread their last 12 home games. Wake Forest, Kendall Hinton, I think, is going to be a better option at quarterback for Wake Forest than John Wolford is or was last season. I think they're going to be able to move the ball and put up enough points and just do enough offensively to win this game. Two good defenses, but I really like the Wake defense in particular and just a little more explosiveness with the Wake offense. So I like Wake there against Boston College, and I like the UTSA, Texas San Antonio Roadrunners, plus the points against the Baylor Bears. Look, I said on the round table, one of these teams that lost a dismal week one performance, lost a bit bad game in week one, Texas, Middle Tennessee State, go on down the list, UNLV. There could be point spread value with these teams moving forward after that one loss, similar to Washington State and Temple last year. I don't think Baylor's one of those teams. Matt Rule inherited a mess. The Art Briles and his kid Kendall left this program in shambles with the sex assault rape stuff that went down. They've lost scholarship players. They're not recruiting at the level they used to. Texas and all the other teams in that state are closing the gap on Baylor in terms of quality recruits. And I don't think that Liberty loss last week is a mirage. They gave up nearly 500 yards of offense to the Liberty team last week. That is absolutely disgraceful. That's as bad as it gets. And I think they're going to struggle here against Texas San Antonio. I think is going to be an improved football team this year. They're going to have a quarterback in Sturm that I think's got potential. And I think it's a team that's going to be able to move the ball against that sad sack Baylor defense and score enough points to hang within this very large number. So give me the UTSA Roadrunners plus the points against Baylor. I think they hang. And before I sign off, Morency, I got to say it because everybody should know this. You are a fans guy. You make time for the fans. You've had great road rage live events over the years where you open the door to your fans, to your listeners, to your viewers. It's like a community. We form new friendships, new relationships. That's what makes being part of the Gabe Morency community all these years so fantastic. Do you think for a fucking second that Colin Cowherd and Bob McCowan are opening their doors for their fans? No, you know what they're doing? They got their bathrobes on at this time of night, sipping cognac or doing whatever the fuck they're doing in their big houses, and then just totally isolating themselves from the people that they broadcast to on a daily basis. Not this guy. Opens his door to his fans all the time. That's what makes him what he is.
I appreciate the kind words, Babano. Your class act. Check out Babano's picks, sportsmemo.com. And you can get Babano's packages, get on his mailing list, sportsmemo.com, Ian Cameron. And, of course, you watch him right here on the round table on SBR forums on the YouTube page. Babano, your class act. Always a pleasure. We'll catch up with you later in the week.
I'm looking forward to doing these hits with you every Wednesday night right here at Sportsbook Review. Good luck, Gabe. Good luck to all of our great viewers and listeners. We'll see you next week and kick ass this weekend in football.
There's Ian Cameron, Babano with us. Thanks, Babano.
See you guys.
All right. See you later, Babano. I feel like it's like like you're on the line with someone. You're like, all right, you got to hang up now because I got to call someone else, man. It's like, all right, man. Babano's such a nice guy, though. Hey, what's going on, Stooch? You got to get our boy Stoochie on the show sometime. Babano, class act. Love the video chat. Our boy Stoochie, we threw down in Costa Rica. It was Stoochie. Yeah, I know. That's it. I think Babano's one of these guys, though. Like you tell him, I've been on TV with Babano. I'm like, Babano, I got one. I see you got 1 minute, Babano. What's your quick take on college? The one thing with Babano, I'll tell him. I got to tell him too. It's like I told him after the last hit too. I'm like, Babano, we don't need the whole fucking roster. All right? I know who plays for the team. Fuck, just tell me who's going to win. Well, this guy went to this college, and I know he went to that college. Babano says he likes attention to detail. You know what I mean? But, you know, you got to be fast here. Like, Babano is hilarious, dude. He's funny without knowing he's funny. It's like, you know, Joey Bosa, Ohio State. It's like, yeah, we know he went to Ohio State. Just get to the pick. Get to the pick, fuck, all right? I love Babano, because I know he's going to do it. I'm like, fuck, you know, I'm like, what do you think about this game? I'm like, oh, boy, here it comes. He's going to fucking name all 5 offensive linemen. It's like, yeah, we get it, fuck. You know, Whitworth's not there anymore, all right? I'm with Big Will. We got to get Babano shirts, fuck. I told Babano I got a great idea for a website name for him for his picks and shit. Fuck. They said bet like Babano and get rich like Tony Soprano. That's like the slogan. Get rich like a soprano. Bet with Babano. Bet with Babano. Bet with Babano. And get rich like Tony Soprano. You know what I mean? Get rich like a soprano. Betwithbabano.com. And just rip the Sopranos off. Fuck. Like, have Tony Soprano, like, fucking cutout type shit. Get rich like a soprano. Bet with Babano. It's such a fucking Better Call Saul ploy. Like, it's like Better Call Saul. Get rich like a soprano. I would actually do it and just wait and see how long it takes until fucking like HBO tell you can't do that. I got into it today with fucking a company for a name that I own. Like, no shit. They're like, listen, you know, you've got a contract with iHeartRadio, and the name Rage is in iHeartRadio. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't really, where are you going with this? You know, it's one of those deals. I'm like, where are you going with this? Well, we have an issue. And I'm thinking, I have an issue with 2 names that I own. It's like I own Sports Rage and I own Red Heat and Rage. And the guy was going to tell them too, like, it's fucking hilarious. They're like, listen, we're sort of in violation. We can't, and like, they're nice guys too, right? I'm you know, it's the industry. It is what it is, all right? You get to a certain level in this business, you're going to deal with this shit. So they're telling me, well, listen, it's a problem because, you know, of iHeart and, you know, and like, and I'm like, so let me get this straight. So you know, they have a problem because of Sports Rage, because of Red Heat and Rage. And then I was like, you know, do you realize the irony of this? That, like, you know, I own the name for all of them. Fuck. like, I was going to tell them, I was going to say, listen, we ripped off the name Red Heat and Rage from another fucking network, okay? So if you guys, you know, like, you want to claim that we're in violation, it's like someone claiming that you stole something. It's like, you just stole it, fuck. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. No. I haven't kicked anybody out of this chat yet, but Big Will's close. It's Gabe's internet. It wasn't my internet. My internet's fucking perfect. My internet's like Tom Marino's picks. 100% winners. 100% winners. I hate that shit. You know, you tell someone, how'd you do on the weekend? Oh, I didn't do great. How'd you do? Oh, I went 11-1. Yeah, you led 11-1. Why are you eating McDonald's today, fuck? In your balls, Tom Marino. Every chat needs a know-it-all. Yeah. I don't know. Like, to me, it can't be me. I don't believe it. All right, so listen, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to end around 12:25 or so tonight. We're on the clock for 2 hours. We like to stretch out a little bit. Let's go over some props, but let's just take a quick quick break. I guess let's call it the smoke 'em if you got 'em break. Let's just, this is a professional operation, but let's be real. We should just have like a bell. This is like a soft launch. We'll work shit out as we go along. But we should have like a bell and just call it the bong break. Fuck. Bong. It's the bong break. Break. All right, so the other night, if you remember, we put the odds up. It was actually Zach that went all it was actually like Zach that put that psychedelic shit up. Yeah, dab break, bong break, dab break, smoke break, piss break, dog break. If you got a chick that's ready to blow you, then it's a fucking blow break. I don't care. Whatever it's like one of those deals, like, when you get kicked out of a club. I don't care what you do for the next 3 minutes, all right? But I'm an old man. I got to stretch here and shit. And, we need a bomb break. Yeah, I'll wrap up with some futures here, Nate. I got a lot of futures. Yeah, bomb break. I'm not in control of the production here. We got to figure this out. I am and I'm not. You know what I mean? So, but I'm on this. It's like the old days. Back to our song here. See how many shows on SBR giving you music breaks. Can't do it. Big Simon. Big Simon. You guys got the coolest names. Big Simon. I told you, I used to be in a metal band called Vig. It's a good name for a band, too. Vig. I'm a fan of Chris Blanchard, Big Simon. Our boy Big Will in the house. A lot of our own Ragers were kicking it here. Drewzilla. Yeah, that's not on me, Drew, that share thing. I don't know what the deal is. I'm going to look into that tomorrow, guys, because to be honest with you, I'm going to record some commercials and breaks and shit like that, you know? But I'm just a fucking loud-ass motor mouth that talk for 2.5 hours straight. All right, so tomorrow on the Fantasy Sports Network, I'm actually doing a full segment tomorrow. We're on at 2 o'clock. You can watch it online and stuff. We have our videos up on YouTube. Please support them. Along with the SBR videos. Enough time today to get more content, right? Teddy Cover's going to be with me tomorrow. Warren Sharp was supposed to be with me, but I don't know. Warren's not with us tomorrow. All right. So, yeah, tomorrow. I was looking at got a lot of stuff here. I'm like a one-man company, you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking, like, it's overwhelming. I'm like, holy shit, really? What was I fucking looking for? Oh, that's it. Who am I talking to tomorrow? Teddy Covers. Joseph Lisi. Joe Lisi's great with the college football. We'll jump into some college football on Friday night with the big man on campus here too, guys. Don't worry. I love my college football, and I know the big man does too. And then, yeah, tomorrow at 2:48. See, this is how professional we are. 2:48 Eastern time tomorrow. I'm going to give my top 10 NFL future bet for the upcoming season, but because I love my boy Nate in Seattle here, I'll share a couple of them with you right now, but I gave a couple of them at the IFBC. Love the Arizona Cardinals over 8.5. The Cardinals played the Rams and the 49ers twice. They went 4-1-1 within a division. I'll tell you right now, you want a bold prediction? The Arizona Cardinals are starting the season 3-0. The Arizona Cardinals are going to beat the Detroit Lions. They're going to go into Detroit. They're going to beat them. All right, last year the Detroit Lions gave up an NFL high record, 72% of passes allowed, quarter pass completed, all right? Carson Palmer's going to pick them apart. David Johnson's going to have a big game. The game's going to be close. It'll come down to the wire, but Arizona's going to win. Week 2, Arizona goes into Indianapolis. Bruce Arians used to coach there, goes back there. No Andrew Luck. Vontae Davis is out. Well, I don't know if Vontae's still going to be out week 2, but if he is, they're fucked. Anyway, Scott Tolzien ain't beating Carson Palmer and the fucking Cardinals. Week 3, the Arizona Cardinals host the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. They're going to beat them. I'm telling you right now, the Arizona Cardinals are going to start out the season 3-0. But as far as NFL props, I'm doing a segment tomorrow. My top 10. It'll be a 10-minute segment, one rapid fire, 1 minute per pick type of thing. I'll blast through a few of them on the share. Arizona Cardinals, over 8.5. Book it. Love it. Put a nickel or a dime on it. Fuck. Can't you see it? And you know what? The NFL season ends on New Year's fucking Eve this year. So, you know, normally I'm not a big future guy. I'm an impatient motherfucker. I broke in toasters waiting for Pop-Tarts, literally. I'm jammed. I'm like, fuck you, hurry up. All right? Like, I was in a McDonald's the other day. Fuck. I nearly fucking started, like, hitting people. In my head, I was like, fuck, this is taking a long time. And then I looked, I was like, wow, I was only in there for 4 minutes. Fuck. Like, I'm an impatient, insane person. I seem like a very calm, nice guy, but a lot of inner rage here. So, I'm very impatient. Like, I fucking hate lineups. Like, People are so stupid. Fuck, it just bothers me. But anyways, Arizona Cardinals, -8.5. It's like George Costanza. They want me to go to anger management for some reason. It makes me so mad. They're going over 8.5. Book it. It's New Year's Eve. You're going to win your bet. It's going to be New Year's Eve. You're going to be fucking going motherfucking right, man. I'm starting off the new year with money in my account. Arizona over 8.5. Atlanta Falcons over 9.5. Now, unfortunately, the New York Jets actually was 5.5. It was -220. Now I see it's 3.5. Motherfucks. It's pretty low. I still think it goes under, but I might have to rename the segment to my top five NFL future bets. 1-1 Dodgers D-backs right now. No, but yeah, my best NFL future bet is the Arizona Cardinals over 8.5. I love the Atlanta Falcons again this year, over 9.5. They ain't going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. The Houston Texans over 8.5. The Houston Texans have been 9-7 3 years in a row. Are they any worse now? They're going to win that division. Andrew Luck's fucking going to be out. You know, like the GM of the Colts said. He said, we're not worried about the game against the Rams or this year. We're worried about the next 10 years. They're not going to rush Andrew Luck back. Jacksonville Jaguar win total is 6.5. There's no way in fucking hell this piece of shit team wins 7 games. But as I sit right now, the top one. That's the best. Am I talking to you, Pinhead? And the Minnesota Vikings. A shout out to our boy Stucci. You got to go with the Vikings as well. Vikings over 8.5. Vikings are a 9-10 win team. That division is, the Vikings are better than the Lions are. The Bears are still rebuilding. And you got the Packers. And the Vikings actually match up well with the Packers. I know. I lost $50,000 in the super contest because of it. I was high on the Minnesota Vikings, and that was my bold prediction about a month ago. I said the Vikings will make the playoffs. And I still stand by it. I didn't like what I saw in the preseason, and I kind of like the Saints a little bit, but I think that's even a trap, the Saints. I think people are talking themselves into Saints, and the Vikings are going to beat them. But we'll have a lot of time to get to the Monday game. We'll be on live before the Monday game, guys. It's going to be some cool shit starting tomorrow. I'll be on live during the second half of the football game. Oh, Arizona's just taking a 2-1 lead. Son of a bitch. Fucking Dodgers just can't win, man. Arizona just took a 2-1 lead. They're in the 7th inning right now. 3-3 Mariners in Houston. So as it is right now, guys, I'm leaning with I like the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me the 9 points. Give me the 9 points. I like the Chiefs on a teaser. +16 tease with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I wanted to get to some props. Let's rattle off some props here. We got to get out of here because they're shutting things down at the office over there at SBR. We'll get this worked out in the coming days. It's been a soft launch this week. It was a holiday. A lot of guys at SBR are on vacation. So it's one of these deals. They got to get out of there. They've been there all day. They open up early in the morning. Total passing yards tomorrow. Alex Smith, 235.5 passing yards. Tom Brady, 295.5 yards. Interesting. I got to chew on these a little bit, but that's why you need to follow me on Twitter. And I give my plays of the day on the Fantasy Sports Network. Just follow me on Twitter. Go to the Fantasy Sports Network YouTube page. I've got a video up, plays of the day. I'm going to have all my props and picks for tomorrow night's football game. Total completions. Alex Smith, 21.5. Tom Brady, 25.5. Thing with Brady completion props, they're always motherfucking really sharp. because he's Tom Brady. You know what I mean? They don't fuck around. Alex Smith game log. See, as fantasy guys, we're big on the game logs. Game log. Pretty much what I was thinking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Alex Smith only went over 21.5 completions 7 times last year. There was a few 21s, actually. I'm not counting. If you count 21, it's actually 9 times, but the total is 21.5. It's a little low because if you consider that the Patriots are going to be leading this football game. So, there's an assumption, the Chiefs are going to run 80 million times. Yeah, but they still need to throw a little bit, Let's see. They didn't play. I'm looking here. They didn't play last year, so it was 2015. Yeah, 21.5. Kareem Hunt rushing yards, 54.5. Let's look at the receptions. Player total receptions. Tyreek Hill, 4.5. Travis Kelce, 4.5. Brandon Cooks, 5.5. Rob Gronkowski, 5.5. Cha-ching, bing, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Chris Hogan, over 3.5. Fucking book it. Chris Hogan was a fucking PPR machine in the playoffs last year, all right? Hogan really came on. If you look Tom Brady threw him the football 23 times in the playoffs last year. All right, and now you don't have Edelman. Cooks is new. Philip Dorsett is new. Yeah, Gronkowski's back. They don't have a ton to work with. You know what I mean? Maybe Cook's going to be running down the field and shit, but you've seen this before. It takes a while for these star receivers to work their way into the Patriots rotation. Tom Brady's a creature of habit. He likes to go with guys he knows. He knows Chris Hogan. It's minus 150. But I'm telling you right now, Chris Hogan has more than 3.5 catches tomorrow in this football game. I appreciate everybody tuning in to the Late Night Anger Management class. That's the name of the show. It's not Sports Rage. It's the Late Night Anger Management class, all right? Remember that. Told these guys, got change on YouTube. Change. So I swear to God, fuck. 3 weeks ago, I didn't even know I was on iHeartRadio. Fuck. Now I'm getting fucking, Anyways. Change. All right. But it's all good. You guys are the best. A lot of great guys in the chat here. I'm having a lot of fun with all you passionate sports gamblers and shit. You guys are nuts. You guys are nuts. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Jim Marino, good to see you, buddy. Matt McCursey, thanks for the kind words, Matt. Armin, thanks, Armin Tanzanian, John Marino, Stucci, Ian Cameron, Babano, Armaine Babano, Football Observer, Lomas, Joe D, Vig Simon, Chris Blanchard, Brandon James, Nate in Seattle, and everybody else in between. Gargon, you guys are class acts. We'll see you tomorrow night. Like I said, check us out on the Fantasy Sports Network. Support SPR. Check out sportsbookreview.com. Bet on some of the sports books there. Keep everyone in business. Thanks, Kyle. You guys are class acts. Other than that, you're on your own. May the winners be yours. We'll see you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Later.